Next, we're going to go ahead and start with the regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council. It's called to order at 6:09 p.m. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Hassan Ahmad.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Present.
Moby Dune.
Here.
Nancy Breyer is absent. Robert Constant.
Present.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Here.
Hassan Saab.
Present.
Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I also want to announce that on behalf of our Councilwoman Breyer, she's not here today. She asked me to announce that she underwent surgery. She's doing fine. She's at home. She's resting, and she plans to be with us at our next City Council meeting. So, just want to put that out there. If you know anything about Councilwoman Breyer, she hates missing anything, whether if it's, an event with the city or being with the Ecorse Creek Commission or being at a City Council meeting. She always goes above and beyond. So we just want you to know the only reason why she's missing today is she's resting after her surgery. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have Madam Clerk lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda for the regular meeting of October 22nd, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
Council Chair.
Hang on one second. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to add a motion to the agenda.
Okay, you'd like to walk something on?
Yes.
I know necessarily we don't really do this. Madam Clerk, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to add a motion to suspend all contracts for Lead Lion, the city of Dearborn Heights.
hang on, Councilman. First of all, if we're going to add something on here today, Madam Clerk, would we be adding that to, hang on. Would that be 11B? No,
9.
9G.
9G.
Councilman Saab. 9G. Suspend who?
Lead Lion, the Lead Lion, Lead Lion Inc., Lead Lion, etc.
Are you being funny or what?
No, I'm serious.
What are they?
It's a city contractor. They got multiple contracts.
Well, what's the company's name? Lead Lion.
Lead Lion, the Lead Lion, Lead Lion Co., Lead Lion Inc., whatever Lead Lion, I'd like to suspend all current city contracts.
Councilman Ahmad, do you want to amend your motion to add 9G to suspend Lead Lion?
Would like to amend my motion to add 9G for Councilman Saab.
Councilman Constant, you second that?
We're going to add it to the agenda.
We're just adding it to the agenda. We can discuss it when we get there.
Second.
What's that?
Second, yes.
Okay. Motion amended by Councilman Ahmad to add 9G to suspend Lead Lion, the Lead Lion, Lead Lion Co. Seconded by Councilman Constant. Any other discussion?
Bless you.
Sorry, guys. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. I ask everybody to please engage in their votes. A silent vote is still a yes vote, but everybody has agreed to vote. Next up, we have, Councilman Saab kind of threw me off here.
Number 4.
Number 4, approval of the minutes.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of October 8, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have public hearings and comments on agenda items only and members of the public. So now that you know, on the last resolution that was passed, you can either speak on agenda items or you have the option of speaking public comments. So please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. The floor is yours.
Are you sure? All right. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Edward Thomas Fisher. I've been a resident of Dearborn Heights for 17 years. The problem that
Please,
I'm having...
hang on one second, sir. State your name, the city you reside in, the street that you live on. Just the
Okay.
street, not the actual address.
My name is Edward Thomas Fisher. No C in my fish and no fish in my sea, please. 6 letters. 6 letters, 6 letters, 6 letters. Edward Thomas Fisher. I reside in Dearborn Heights. I've been here for 17
What
years.
street do you live on?
I live on West Outer Drive.
West Auto Drive. Thank you.
Yeah. In this time, I'm sure that everybody here as a resident has felt the same thing that's happening. All right? From 7 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning, we have nothing from Warren Road to Michigan Avenue and all environs in between. Nothing but NASCAR drag racing situation. The law enforcement officers and the police are doing all they can, and they scramble to do everything that they can do to stop these. And there's a variety of speed racers. I call them all speed racers with quote unquotes, okay? All different age groups and all different nationalities and all different cars. I do not know why that I do not know why the parents give the fresh graduates these $60,000 to $100,000 race cars when they have no ability to drive them. However, there's other things that can accessorize these vehicles where they sound like crotch rockets going up and down Southfield Freeway. We have to sleep with not only foam earplugs sometimes, but also with our rifle and small arms earmuffs that we can use for outdoor equipment. And then, even then, we're not going to get a good night's sleep. So what I propose is, this is a media blitz, but it's just kind of like to freak the young kids out or whoever's driving, is we take the whoa, that's real quick.
We're going to give him an
We
additional
take the
minute.
mostly the newspapers around here, the Arab American News and the Dearborn Herald or whatever it's called. But just tell them that we're going to have a curfew. But it's not really a real curfew, just a curfew to get this to stop.
I'm going to give you additional 30 seconds. Go
Thank you
for it.
very much.
Anytime.
Okay, I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody, but in the 17 years I've lived here, I've watched it go crazy. And Southfield Freeway with the crotch rockets, we can hear it all. The kids are in the parks, they're in the Ann Arbor Trail area, they're all over the place, and the police cannot stop them at all. So, what do? The parents don't put trackers on the cars. It's just like, what do we do? It's NASCAR all over.
Why don't we do this? Why don't I give your contact information to George? You can fill out the form, and then George CC me on the email with me, him, and the police chief, and maybe we can get in a conversation with the gentleman, please.
Council Chair?
For starters,
For starters.
right?
Hey, everything, we got to crawl before we walk.
All right?
That's right.
You can't climb the ladder by just jumping through it.
I understand that.
There you go.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Hold on one second. Councilman Constant.
Just very quickly, and even more importantly,
You got it.
young man, we may save a life. I mean, these kids hit something at, 90, 100 miles an hour. I'm an attorney and did a lot of accident cases. I've seen it. Somebody in the neighborhood I grew up with, she had one daughter, and they were driving, and the car flipped over, and the girl was killed. It was her only child, so it's dangerous all around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At that age, everybody is invincible, right? Fresh out of high school, they're invincible for the next 4 or 5 or 6 years. Yes,
Council
sir.
Chair, what we would consider for the gentleman, sir, what we did in Wayne, when I was a prosecutor in Wayne County, we would consider nuisance abatement action where we designate certain areas of where it's taking place as drag racing and a nuisance. If that gives us more tools for law enforcement to seize the vehicles, and we would charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get your vehicle back if you're caught and if you're convicted of drag racing or speeding and contributing to a nuisance in a certain area. We would designate a certain spot. Okay, we can even do injunctions on certain types of areas where there's constant action like that. So we will follow up, as the council chair asked, with the chief and with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Next up, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You
Ray
can tell me if
Muscat.
you're missing any E's, I's, or O's in your name.
No, Muscat with a C. Not with a K.
And with
Havelock
an M.
Street, Dearborn Heights.
As both T's.
Councilman Mo Beydoun, you're a trip. I wish I had a Mo sign right here. I came for one reason, and it's about 11A, okay? And water was always dear to my heart. But I came here to find out how this is going to get paid, because it's going to get paid through, obviously, water, okay? Which is going to increase our water spending, okay? And what I proposed as a councilman years ago, and it never was put together, I think Councilwoman Lisa Hicks Clayton, at the time Councilwoman, agreed with me that we needed our water bills itemized, because, you know, people don't know they're paying for CSO and what they're paying for, the infrastructure. This is an older city infrastructure-wise. And we've got a lot going on that we're paying for. And then when the next CSO project comes on and we go out for a bond, we're going to be paying more. So people need to be more aware of what they're really paying for. And I don't believe people know what they're really paying for or how much water they really are consuming. You get a household of, you know, a married couple with 4 kids taking showers for 40 minutes at a shot, running dishwashers constantly, washing clothes with minimum loads. It takes a lot. So, you know, it's going to affect the whole city when you pay for this. So, you know, I'm looking at my water bill. Is it high? I don't know what high is anymore, but I'm not out of the ordinary. My bills are pretty consistent for the last 4 or 5 years. So I can't complain about it, but I definitely don't want to pay for something that's really not needed. And that's just my opinion only, without going out and looking for something obvious, like, you know, putting what you're paying for on the bill. Because I really still don't know what we're paying for everything. So just food for thought for you guys, and that's how I feel. Thank you very kindly for your time.
I want to just answer to you, and you guys know how much I respect and love Ray. Like, Ray is somebody I looked up to. I leaned on a lot when I first got onto the council. Ray, I will tell you this. For 2.5 years, I've stayed silent to myself. I've walked into the building department, to the water department. I said, can you give me 2 years of this water payment? And you could ask any employee that's there. I said, can you give me 2 years of this water department? Can you give me 2 years of this? And it's the residents' homes. Can you give me the last 2 years of their water bill? Can you give me the last 2 years of their water bill? Can you give me the last 2? I'm not saying a word to anybody. If you think for a second that I'm blindly just saying, you know what, it's time, let's get
No,
I am strategically looking into this. And I can tell you another thing. I've also reached out to an agency that said, Mo, I can tell you right now, I don't know what's going on, but if you call for a third-party investigation, we'll even pay for the investigation on ourselves. So even what if it is just the CSOs? But what I cannot tell you is my good friend Cindy that lives in the South End on Eaton Street tells me why lives by her own, on her own, and says to me, my bill went from $80. I'm a 74-year-old woman. My bill's $600. I have no way of paying. I cannot tell that resident, and nor can anybody here, why her water bill is $600. Instead, what we're hearing is, call a plumber. You must have a leak. Check your toilet. Ray, for 2 years, and I wouldn't say anything to anybody. For 2 years, I'd walk up and I'd say, what do you think is going on? Oh, they probably have a toilet leak. So then there's then this was the final straw for me. I received an anonymous phone call on Star 67, unknown. Said, hey, I just saw your thing on Channel 7. I said, yeah, you know, we're looking into it. They said, I've bypassed my water meter. I have no water meter in my house. I'm in contact with the FBI. I just want you to know I received an $1,100 water bill. How is that possible? To me, something just doesn't sit right with me. I don't have the answer to it.
Well, he's opened himself up to some prosecution.
100%, and that's why he probably called me anonymous. But I want you to know, to me, I don't have an answer to anyone. When I'm getting 50, 60, 70 phone calls, every time a water bill comes out saying, why is my water bill so high? I don't know.
You weren't the only one getting them. We all got them at certain point in time in our career.
And you know what? I'm also noticing it raised. I'm noticing it. And I get it. More people use their water bill in the summer. Sure, we got a 4-month. Sure. I can tell you, I have residents that tell me I refuse to water my grass because I'm afraid of my water bill. Nobody should be living in fear in Dearborn Heights because of their water bill.
I'm not saying I'm not saying anything
I know you're not.
wrong with it.
You're looking
I'm
at-
I'm just food for thought for
Yeah.
everybody. Let's be conscious of what we use, okay? And myself, I make it a point, when I go downstairs in my basement, I open up the little closet door and I take a peek at my water meter and make sure the little red dial isn't spinning, because if it's spinning, the clock in my head goes, the gears start getting dry and I got to put grease in there, okay?
And I got one more question for you. Here
Yes,
I have this resident who lives on Wilson. I won't give the exact address. Her bill date is from 8/29 of 2024. She complains to her uncle who lives on Shadow Lawn. And she says, my God, my bill is so expensive this year. How did I go from $160 to paying $461.28? Her uncle dropped his phone and said, what are you talking about? He pulled up his bill, who lives on Shadow Lawn, completely across the city, and said, my water bill is $461.28 to the penny. So you know what that tells me? That means they have flushed the toilet equally amount, they have washed their hands equally amount, and they have showered equally amount to get to the bottom of 461.28, and I have it.
I understand what you're looking at as far as billing practices and things of that nature. But I'm just saying, we need to itemize our bills. I wanted.
And you asked about that before you stepped down, Ray. This was not when Lisa was here. You asked about this when David Saputo was here, and you said we want an itemized list.
We asked about it years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, both of us did. Okay, and the council has to get together and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, because they say, well, it causes more billing issues. I don't think so. It's just another couple line items. That's all. Just food for thought, and thank you for the extra time.
Thank you.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but I need to not to stay for the whole meeting. So if I get up and walk out, it's nothing.
We love you, Ray.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, and Ray, people should check what period of time it's for. If it's for, double the normal amount of time, often that's the case.
And mind you, I want to also make, for the record, on as far as 11A, since we're talking about it, I know we're at public comments, but this is not, against the employees at the water department. This is not against the administration, the mayor, our comptroller. This is not in target of them. This is because I truly don't have an answer. And I don't think anybody here has an answer on that. So I just want to, just to clear the air on this, and I don't want anybody to think that this is silly. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
All right.
Or, I'm sorry, Treasurer.
But I'm going to speak as a resident, if I may.
Okay, please state your name, the city you reside in, the street that you live on.
Lisa Hicks Clayton, North Gully Road in Dearborn Heights. I would also like to speak on 11A and thank former Councilman Ray Muscat. Thank you for mentioning that, because it was a couple of times, yes, when you were on council with this honorable body, but even prior to that, we talked and brought forward about itemized bills. And I will tell you that I see it on the bill that maybe residents don't know is part of your rate is our 21 bond for all those CSO projects, those L projects, L43, L42. That's all built in. And they may not be aware of that. So I agree with the itemized bill, because we need to be transparent. We need to communicate with our residents so they know. You already touched on what I was going to say regarding the water department employees. I would encourage whatever you decide tonight to definitely speak with them and find out what their feedback is on this, because I have done so. I will not speak on their behalf, but I know there's some things they would like to speak with you all and somebody who would investigate. I think that's the right thing to do. And the last thing I'll leave you with is a reminder that water is a human right. It is essential and a necessity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
we're speaking of all these problems. I think one of our main problems is that we're understaffed in the water department. It takes weeks to generate a bill, put them in envelopes, and mail them out. A couple of weeks for a person to do that. And we're already understaffed, and we need to get more automated in our water department, hire more people. Everybody I talk to says we're understaffed in the water department. That'd be a good place to start. Get enough people in there to take care of what we have to do.
Thank you. How you doing, ma'am? Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street that you live on.
Angela Venegas, your favorite redhead, Dwight Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. I got a few things. I will agree with the gentleman about the drag racing with the cars, because I was going to send you videos I have for my Nest camera Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, unbelievable racing. Burnouts everywhere. You want to see burnouts? Just drive out Fenton, Midway. You got burnouts all over the street.
Hear them all night.
It's uncontrollable. Next, the mattress at the corner of Inkster and Warren that's been sitting there now for almost 3 months. The business at the strip mall there, all of them ought to be ashamed of themselves that nobody has gone and picked up that mattress. Welcome to Dearborn Heights. As soon as you go from Garden City to Dearborn Heights, you get to see it. It looks like a slum.
You said Warren and Inkster?
Warren and Inkster,
We drove by, you and I.
yes. Yep, almost 3 months now.
Director? Can we get it picked up? All right. Thank you.
Airbnbs, Planning Commission meeting, supposed to be on the agenda for us to vote on. Still hasn't happened. I live next door to an Airbnb, and I'm sick and tired of living next door to hell, and that's what I'm going to call it. Party, you know what happened. I had prostitutes staying next door, filth, garbage, tired of it. And I know some people go to Airbnbs, and we've had a few nice people, but you guys need to come together. This is a community where people live, there's children that live next door to me, you don't know who's coming in. Could be anybody. I got kids next door to me on the other side, kids across the street, young girls, you don't know what's going on. Another thing, southwest corner of Warrington and Beach Daily. There was a car accident there over a year ago. They got a fence that goes down that side. Fence has been mangled and sitting there for over a year.
Where's it at exactly?
Warrington and Beach Daily. Looks horrible. A year. Warrington.
He's been here, the owner of that property, a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
Warrington and,
Beach.
Yep. It's mangled. You'll see it. The car hit it.
oh,
The-
yes,
the
yes,
phone-
yes,
the-
yes,
The
yes,
electrical
yes,
pole was
yes.
down. Yeah, it's been over a year. Fence still isn't fixed. What do we do to get things done in the city? If it's not grass, if it's not trees being trimmed, the sidewalk by Riverside. Wintertime's coming. You guys going to find out who's going to plow that sidewalk for the kids going to school? I'm picking up all the garbage there. I just picked up another bag of garbage there this week. Things need to start getting done in this city. We pay a lot of taxes, and we get basically nothing but police and fire.
Thank you.
Council Chair? Go ahead.
I do, real quick, Roger, I do want you guys to know, Angela, actually, almost maybe once or twice a month, sometimes 3, will go down to Warren, where, mind you, she lives closer to Ford Road. She'll go to Warren and Beach Daily, past Beach Daily, where kids are walking by Heinz Drive, and she'll clean the entire sidewalk, maybe 2-3 times a month. And she does this on her own time, at her own spare, because she truly does not want to see kids walking through high, tall grass or through a lot of debris. So round of applause to Angela for always giving back. But it's not unfair, it's not fair. We should not be expecting a resident to be doing that. Go ahead, Roger.
Yes, Council Chair?
Yeah, she got a great fig tree.
I'm gonna rent the Airbnb.
Council Chair, in response to Angela's, the the Planning Commission approval has been put on, I guess, the November 12th City Council agenda. The minutes were just prepared and signed by the Planning Commission Chair, so that's going to be on your agenda for November 12th. It's already been said. We're looking at, and I'd ask her if she can turn that information, those videos, because I went out to Los Angeles, I went out to New York, met with the prosecutors there when I was a Wayne County prosecutor about doing gang injunctions, nuisance abatement actions where we can target certain areas where there's consistent nuisance activities, such as drag racing, things like that. You can actually use it to seize the vehicles. You file a civil lawsuit against the people. Therefore, they don't get a court-appointed lawyer. They have to pay for their own lawyers. We stack up the documents, and it's very effective in breaking up that kind of nuisance activity, such as racing, drag racing, and things like that. So,
You gotta catch them. We know it can't be everywhere.
Yes, lawlessness. It's
Yes.
blatant lawlessness.
Point of order, Council Chair.
Guys,
Point of order,
guys.
Council.
Point of order, guys, please.
I'm just giving out some solutions that have worked in other cities that we've looked at.
Roger, thank you. Thank you so much.
The costing and soliciting
All right, guys.
areas and
Let's go up next.
Cars.
Anyone else in the audience on agenda items, and you can speak about public comments or agenda items? Madam Clerk, can we go to Zoom? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Hassan Ayun, good afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Saul put a motion to take all the contracts out. I want to ask you a question. Why is Ali Deeb involved in everything? Ali Deeb is not supposed to be opening the bids. City council members are supposed to open the bids. Did you know this? That there's a conflict? Every time, for some reason, they pick companies, and he looks at the bid, and then he rebids it again, and he'll tell the other bidder what to put. It's a no-brainer. So that's what's happening. Think about it. Why would something go out for bid 3 times or 2 times, and there's 4 or 5 bidders? Because his company that he tells them to bid, he tells them what the bid is, they'll underbid, and then there's another way, he'll sit there and say, well, we need more money. I know the game. I know what he's doing. I'm asking you guys to open the bid, not Ali Deeb. Ali Deeb's job is engineering, not bidding. This is ridiculous. And the water bills, just to let everybody know about the water bill. My stepson lives by himself, $360 for 2 months. He doesn't even do laundry. He does not do laundry. He takes his laundry all the way to the laundromat. Like, what is he spending water on? Every day he showers 1 time? This is ridiculous. I went to his house. I checked all the toilets. I checked everything. Nothing was leaking. There's something going on. I don't care what you tell me. Go to any other city. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening, and I'll tell you what's happening. They're not going out to the houses, just doing estimates, robbing people. And this is ridiculous. This is highway robbery. That's how I call it. You guys do something about it, forensic audit, do something. You know, I don't care what you do. But that little radical Ali Deeb, he should not.
Come on, Mr. Your time is up, Mr. Owen.
2 minutes?
No, your time is up. Thank you.
I asked you for an extra minute.
You did not.
Yeah, I did.
It was towards the end. You can get it at the end, Mr. Owen, please.
Council
I'm
Chair,
at another city council meeting, that's why.
All right, thank you.
Council Chair, just for the record, Mr. Owen, I think you're talking about, this has nothing to do with the bids or Mr. Deeb, so.
I'm talking about contract, I'm talking about bids or contracts that you have, what's it called? I'm telling you to void all the contracts that you think that other companies.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Your time is up. Please mute him.
All right.
Please. Yes, please unmute Sue K. I think it's one of my favorites.
Good evening, everybody.
There she is.
Thank you for all you do. Sue Kaminsky, Amboy Street, Dearborn Heights. Thank you for looking into the water bill. Mine was over 600. Should not have been with 2 of us living here. So I appreciate that effort, Mo. And I just wanted to say I'm really sad that the mayor is not there to hear public comments. I was hopeful that with moving them to the beginning, the mayor would be able to find a way to hear what the residents say, but obviously not. That's it. Have a good night. Be extra careful with kids trick-or-treating.
Thank you so much. And I was hoping the mayor would be here as well. Not sure where he is. What's that, Sue?
I said, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Nice. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom or in the public? Please step up to the podium, sir. State your name, street that you live on. It doesn't matter. You still just state the street you live on and the city you reside in. It doesn't matter if you live in Dearborn Heights or not.
Okay. My name is Hassan Mandu. I have a business on Warren and Dearborn Heights between Telegraph and.
Just tell me the street that you live on. And your name.
I live on Silvery Lane.
In what city?
Dearborn.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so for the past 6 years, I've had tenants there because I rent out the building, and they have a beauty school. And obviously a school, so, sanitary is a big part. So every time it rains, it backs up in the alley, and the water is going inside the building from underneath the door. I've sent pictures. I've also finally got into contact with the DTW director, and the lady, as in the tenant, she's talked to Wayne County, I've talked to Wayne County, and they say it's the city's problem. And it's been going back and forth, and obviously I don't want to lose my tenant, and I need, help.
You own the building?
Yes.
Can you give your contact information to George? George, can you put us in an email tomorrow or share his contact information with me, and I'll email him with Mr. Deeb, and then we'll take a look at it. I know we just approved the asphalt company, so.
Now, I'm
maybe-
sorry to interrupt you. Asphalting, it needs, like, the whole back alley needs to be regraded.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and that's what we would,
Yeah.
I mean, is it asphalt or is it concrete?
It's not, it's like dirt, it's
Okay,
gravel.
It was probably asphalt once upon a time.
Once upon a time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So get your contact information. This is news to us. I mean, I will tell you, we're seeing
Where's the
this
business at?
on
It is
Warren.
on Warren in Dearborn Heights. If you want the exact locations, I can give you.
Just write it down on there, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else on Zoom?
May I say something?
Yeah, you have
Mr.
some.
Deeb, are we working on those alleys to give them to the owners?
Do you have the pen too?
Please.
Thank you.
Yes, actually, Council Chair, Council.
Sorry, I see the gentleman tried to speak with me earlier, so I'm letting him know this is the time where you can speak. You have 2 minutes.
Council Chair, I was just going to respond to Council Ahmed's. In terms of, yes, we had a meeting today. We're going through the procedures to take the alleys or by either city or by private citizens. We're drafting it, Mr. Dibb, myself, the building department, the assessor's office, DPW met, and we've put together, we're taking the 2006, the 2019, and the 1999 drafts of ordinance about how to take vacating alleys. So we are putting it together. We are working it in response to the question.
Perfect, thank you.
How you doing, sir? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Hala Lashkar on North Gully in Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
My issue is with the water bill. I moved in on April of 2023, and then I didn't get a bill until August of 2024. And then they sent the bill of 14 grand, and then when I came in here to the water department, they said there's no issue with the bill. An hour later, she calls me, she's like, they double billed you? And then I just ended up paying the $600 to $800 bill. And then my bill after that came almost $3,000. I came back here. She's like, there's no issue with the bill. She called me back again. She's like, yeah, they just double billed you again. And then I don't know who she talked to. She's like, well, it's fixed now. And now on BSA, it has an auto read of 113 units.
Council Chair, just Mr. Ashkar, I actually sent an email, I talked to you earlier, I sent an email to our director, he's got your information. You have DPW, hopefully you can get somebody out there to look at your.
Well, I think this is something the comptroller also should be in contact with.
Well, I just want to figure out how they're double billing people if they're going out.
It would go through the comptroller, not the
Water
DPW.
billing, not the.
It'll be, it's actual. the-
And then another thing is they came out a couple times because I hadn't received the bill. They said, oh, your water bill's through Dearborn. But I had already paid like $1,800 for them to come remove the tap or whatever.
The meter?
And what is it?
The meter?
Yeah, the meter tap, and then they did a meter tap through Dearborn Heights, and then I paid like $2,800 for the meter and the tap and the concrete and all that.
You're
Through
you're
Dearborn
great,
Heights.
you're
Huh?
a great patron to the city of Dearborn Heights, but you're paying a lot of money.
I mean, what do you expect me to do? Let it go to taxes? I come here, I go back and forth with the lady, and then she gets nowhere, and then it's like I'm not gonna let it get delinquent.
All right.
We'll look-
Do you have his contact information?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I already sent an email out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else on Zoom? All right, I guess
Council
we'll
Chair?
talk about 11A when we get there.
Council Chair,
Sir?
we have comments from council members? It's on there?
Yeah. I mean, I told the Madam Clerk that we are going to change that, though. We're not going to, that is on the agenda, but it's here now, so if you want to go to give comments from
Yeah.
council members, go ahead.
Really quickly, I want to announce that we're having the area's largest and best totally free trunk or treat extravaganza Sunday, October 27th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Hardy Elementary School parking lot. We have a balloon artist, photo booth, face painting, DJ, inflatable obstacle course, bounce houses, pumpkin painting, and more, and it's all totally free. And we have, the entire city council is sponsoring this. It's presented by the Dearborn Heights District 7 Dads Club and Jamie's Kids and Family Fun. We have Tony's Car Wash sponsored, J&T, Crova, Towing. The Police Officers Association came by the house and they dropped off $200 worth of candy for us. Even Cordy's Collision is sponsoring El Sayed. They are donating hundreds of small pumpkins for the pumpkin painting, VIP Car Wash, Elite Sports, Target, Warren Valley, Wasamisa is donating money. We're looking for participants to bring their cars or trucks and decorate and be part of the activity, and we invite the whole public to come between 2 and 4 p.m. at the Pardee Elementary School on this Sunday, October 27th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Hearing none, move on. Next up, we have fund transfers and, well, we did public announcements. We'll go to fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve current claims and ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 6-17 and 6-19 through 6-41 as submitted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this? All right, hearing none. All in favor? Actually, 1 second. I'm sorry, there was a question that I had. It was something about the Red Wings. Red Wing shoes. Maybe somebody can answer this. I saw that we were paying to the Red Wing shoes number 33, and it was $7,148.94. Would this be, Madam Clerk, or maybe the Treasurer, or anybody for that matter that can answer this? Yeah,
Thinking
please,
it's
Director.
DPW boot.
I know, I mean, I drive by the Red Wing shoe store off of Mound all the time.
Council Chair, the union contract with TPOAM, city is required to provide $300 allowance for boots. So I elected to have Red Wings come in so we could purchase boots. In the event that anybody bought anything less than $300, we kind of saved a little bit of money because we just used that as a boot allowance. So that's the TPOAM DPW union list of everybody
Okay.
that.
So this is everybody is what I was saying. That's for the year?
Yeah, it's for the year.
Okay.
And that's contracted to supposed to be every year in July. They didn't do it this year in July, and then when I started in August. We gotta make sure our guys got what they're supposed to have via the contract, so.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
It was the first that I seen, Red Wing shoes, and I said,
Yeah,
what's going
it
on?
hasn't been done in the past. I know in the past, they've either gotten an allowance and they bought their own things. I elected to do it this way because I'm trying to bring a little bit of standardization to what type of boots they're allowed to wear, safety shoes, different electrical hazard, instead of having somebody go out and buy tennis shoes with their allowance and say they should wear that at work, so.
Council Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just want to let know everybody, this is the first time I think DPW director, so I'd like to introduce them to everyone.
Thank you, everybody. You said you here to,
John Dancy.
Nice taste in Sioux color too.
Thank you. That's what we do, man. We try to look good. So again, yeah, I'm the DPW director. I started here August 7th. Just trying to find solutions for anything. Again, if you guys have questions when I'm available and here, you're welcome to ask me questions. I can come up and speak to any issues that you guys might have or try to do my best to address, and/or our office is always open between my email, phone, working hours, anybody from the public. We're just trying to find solutions for everything, so.
Thank you, John.
Director.
Thank you. So that was my only comment, and thank you for answering that for me. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, second by Councilman Saab. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, City Engineer Deeb Bid Award 2024-2026 Street Payment Program Contract.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the 2024 through 2026 street pavement program to A&G Construction Remodeling LLC in the amount of $2,622,180, which is the lowest bid plus 10%, and authorize the release of the bid bonds for the other bidders. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract as outlined in 7A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
We've had a study session on this and some deep thoughts on this. Honestly, I'd like to see this bid go back out for bid. And I'd like oversight on this bid when bids are open for us to be here.
I mean, everybody's bid's already been exposed at this point.
I mean, there's other people that have bidded a couple other times before, and it's not fair. I think the process wasn't done right.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. I do agree with Councilman Saab. I think it's too late in the game now. We're not going to be using cement anyway. I know we did it twice, but I think third time is a charm. So I would love to table this or send it back to the administration to send it out for bidding again, just to be fair across the board, to be honest with you. I mean, I just didn't like how it went last time. The way the bid went, the way other people showed up, the way the whole thing was just a mess. So I think it's only fair to start all over again and make it fair across the board. Thank you, Council Chair.
Any other discussions?
Council Chair, that's something new I've heard. I mean, that's might be something we could look into, since it's not time sensitive right now, like Councilman Ahmed said. How would we go about doing that? It'd be up to us to make that.
They want to go through us. You would ask the administration to rebid it. The bids would come through. We can, excuse me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we refer back to the
We
administration.
can refer back to administration.
I think he's talking about how the bids are open.
The whole process. Yeah.
So I think they can, I mean,
Council Chair?
yes, ma'am, go ahead.
In the past, when I was council chair, I did open bids on things. I was included in the bid process. So,
Palaco liked you more.
no, he didn't.
I'm saying Palaco liked you more than Dolezzi likes me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, that's the way it should be. There's just too many questions. This is federal money. We got to be really careful about it. This is not just money, whatever. This is federal money. And we've got some issues with one of the contracts wasn't even signed. I mean, how can you even, there's a procedure to follow, and, you know, people mess up, and if they mess up, then they're excluded. You just don't let them in if they didn't follow procedure, especially when you're talking about federal money.
Look, I can agree with a lot of you guys on this. I also have to say, like, I got to play devil's advocate a little bit here. We're part-time. Mr. Deeb's sitting in the trenches day in and day out, looking at the work that's being done. I'm not saying A&G, and I'm not saying the other company. I am not. What I can say is, we are not, that's not my role, nor is it anybody else's role. If you guys want to open up and look at the bids that came in and then allow the administration to go back and choose, sure, I think, you know, that's fair. But for us to, you know, constantly be picking and choosing on who, you know, if there's 20 bids, if 7 of us all agree to a different person, and it becomes a lot more difficult. But I will say, if you guys want to refer this back to the administration, I'm in support of that as well. I agree. It's not time sensitive. I don't like the way things kind of all went about on this. So, yeah.
And when I say I was allowed to open the bids, we did it right in the lobby in City Hall, where anybody could have come and watched. It was public.
Yeah.
It was not private in a room.
What changed?
It was out in public.
I honestly,
Administration, I don't know. We had a lot of department heads change.
Mr. Deeb, maybe you can answer that.
Maybe they didn't realize the procedures that were in place.
Is there a policy in place for this?
There's, I believe the golf course was open that way. When we did the golf course, I believe we watched them all open it up at a certain time.
So can I just correct one thing? This is how we do it today. I don't open these bids. The bids go to a buyer and they go to the conference room and all the bidders are out there and they're open and public in front of the bidders. I don't get to open these. I never do. I get the same tally sheet you do, so I get it afterwards, the results. But and I don't see it. I don't intentionally don't get to see them. They're submitted to the buyer. Buyer opens them in the conference room in front of all whoever attends. But it's public, and that's how it's done. I'm not sure who came
Published
up.
somewhere?
Pardon me?
Is this published somewhere?
That's the standard procedure. The buyer works for the comptroller's office, and he receives all the, I just submit the stuff. I don't get to see them at all. I see.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it published for the public to attend.
Right, but that's how it's being done. So if you look at the RFP, when we advertise for bid, the RFP states where to send them, who to send them to. And so I'm not even included in that. It goes to the buyer. That's for all buying stuff. Any contracts, regardless of whether it's me or someone else, it goes to the buyer. The buyer submits to the requesting division the tally as who did what and how much. So we see it the same way you do.
So,
I
Mr.
don't
Deeb,
get the
I have a
details.
question for you.
Go to the chair, please.
Council
Sure.
Chair.
Yes, sir. Hold on, Mr. Deeb, are you done?
Yes, I'm
So
sorry.
my question is, this bid went out multiple times, and there was inaccuracy, you said, but those bids were already open.
Okay, so I explained to you before.
I-
3 times it wasn't. It was the first time the bid went, DPW put a contract, exact same contract, same specs, for repairs of water main breaks and concrete. And that contract was awarded to Luigi, and they're using it. That Luigi contract that's the first time. Second time, it was when we have this Wednesday, Thursday mess up, because the buyer decided to have it open one day early, but it was on mitten, and so it wasn't fair because people knew what the numbers on Wednesday. So we said, okay, we didn't even open them. I didn't get to see the bids from that because of that mess. So we put it out second time for my stuff, for the street stuff. So the first one is actually in use. Luigi is a contract that was the first one. It's underway. We're using it. In fact, I was going to use it to do some work before winter. But that's the only reason it went back out, because it wasn't fair for people coming on Thursday to know the bid.
So the people on Wednesday were out of luck, because the people on Thursday's bids got turned in.
No, we canceled everything. That bid was canceled. The whole thing was canceled.
How many people that bid the original
I
bid did
really
not
didn't
bid?
even, look, I didn't even ask for the bid on Thursday. I didn't.
Would the
because of
comptroller know
issue.
that?
No, the buyer would.
Is the buyer here?
No. But I mean, because of that mess, because of that situation, Wednesday, Thursday, I thought it was unfair to everyone. So we put it back out.
Okay.
Simple.
Council Chair.
Yes, Councilman Constant.
Question for City Engineer Deeb and also for Roger. And I'm just thinking, what liability we have, if any, we accepted the lowest bidder, or the city did, and then it's referred back to the administration. I mean,
I'm not sure, I understand the question.
is that legal,
Do we have
any liability for, we've got a contract and then.
There is no contract.
There's no contract yet. So this is, at this point, I'm sure, Attorney, if he wants to.
I'm not going to discuss anything other than, you did your process, you followed it. I haven't seen why you can't open a bid as opposed to anybody else. I haven't seen anything that shows you any bad faith, any malfeasance, any kind of scurrilous activity by anyone doing the bids. It's been a process in place since I've been here for 2.25 years. So I don't see why we're.
Yeah, if you want to change the process, it's fine, but I followed what was existing, and it was always the buyer who does this and then present the requesting department with a tally sheet that says who's
the buyer?
Matthew Paul is our buyer. Yeah,
Council
he
Chair?
works for the comptroller's office.
The only thing I know is they used to do it in the main hallway.
Yeah.
They did it on the water department counter.
That was
before you, but
okay.
I don't know if that's, I know that is different.
Okay, so since I joined the city, we go to that conference room by the HR, and this is where all the bidders go, and the buyer opens up
I mean,
all the bids
really,
and write them down.
that would be even more ideal. There's a conference table there, there's chairs, everybody probably just sits there.
And for the record, a lot of times I don't even attend those, I just wait for this, because I don't know who they are, I'm just looking for.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. I have no issue with the process. Thank you, Mr. Deeb. I have no issue you opening the bids. My issue was just the issue that happened between Wednesday and Thursday. I just wanted to be fair to everybody. I know it's not time sensitive. I guess it's only fair to send it out for bidding again, and whoever's the lucky bidder, good luck for them.
Any other
Yeah,
discussion?
the best qualified bidder.
Oh, does Councilman Constant want to re-amend his motion?
He does.
Go ahead.
I'd like to move that we refer item 7A back to the administration
For rebid.
for rebid.
Councilman Wenzel, do you want to second that?
Yeah, I'll second that. Thank you.
Motion made to amend 7A and send back to administration for rebid by Councilman Constance, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have 7B DPW Director Dancy.
Council Chair.
Bid award, Police Department boiler repair replacement. Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the replacement of the police department boiler in the amount of $54,100 to Allied Building as the lowest qualified bidder and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the required paperwork to execute the contract. In addition, approve the budget amendment reducing the police department repair and maintenance equipment GL account 101-300-932-000 in the amount of $54,100 and increasing building maintenance capital outlay GL account 101-265-981-000 in the amount of $54,100. Further, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from the building maintenance capital outlay GL account 101-265-981-000 as outlined in 7-B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant, the Honorable Councilman Constant.
That's right.
Any discussion on that?
Yes.
Councilman Saab, go ahead.
1 second. This company, Allied Building, are they heating and cooling company or?
Yeah, to my knowledge, they are.
Director, if you don't mind.
Director, I know this is your first meeting, so anytime you're being summoned here, you join us at the podium.
I've been to a lot of these at different places, but yes. So the Allied, to my knowledge, is one of the contracted HVAC companies with the city already. We did solicit 4 different bids to 4 different companies regarding these 2 hot water tanks or boilers. They provide all the hot water at the PD. Neither one of them is functioning properly. It's causing damage down in the basement of the PD. And Allied is just, they became the lowest qualified bidder after we kind of walked through the building with all 4 companies. And yeah, so they don't work. So the PD has been without hot water for a little while. So
I got a question.
Yes.
In full support of this. Thank you for doing this. I know this is something that the police department, the chief and former chief brought to our attention about the boiler. My question is, well, we know that the judicial system, that our courts pay half of everything that's happening. Will they be paying half of this bill?
Not to my knowledge at the moment. We can discuss with them. I haven't been through that process yet. I mean, I don't know standard practice here with that particular service. I I'm in agreement with you. If we can, I don't know if, I haven't met anybody with the judicial court being separate from the PD, but I'm open to discussions.
Yeah, so
They're not
the
at
court
moment.
is actually funded through the state, and technically they get their money through the state. I mean, this would.
I'll look into it. I just haven't, my awareness, so I'll ask and work with the comptroller. Like I said, I agree. If the court uses half or more of that building, they should kind of be required to pay
100%.
some of the HVAC and infrastructure there. So.
Right, yes.
Council Chair, if you don't mind. So this covers both section of the building?
This is all the hot water tank, or all the hot water in the building, to my knowledge, just while I was talking to the building supervisor.
So both the PD and the court?
Yeah. This is all the hot water for the building that neither one of them are functioning, and they've been leaking and causing damage, so
Council Chair, I
it's
think
time to.
everything the court gets paid by the city, only the judges, they get paid by the state.
Yeah, but that.
Yeah, we have a budget for the court.
We'll look into it, see if we can't find some sort of funding.
whatever.
I haven't, I was unaware of that even being an option. Nobody had really conveyed that to me.
I
But
think we pay, just the judges get paid by the state.
yeah, but still, if the court's in the building, there's
Yeah,
no
they-
reason for us not
they
to
have a
push to
budget.
try to get some sort
No,
of.
budget comes from us.
I understand that, but the courts still have a budget, do they not?
Yeah, I mean, city budget.
What you approve, but who gets, where the money comes from, I'm not sure. I know that the city gets reimbursed
It's
for,
already specified
I
in the
think, their
motion.
salaries, but I don't know the details of them.
Is that something maybe
funding?
Madam Controller can
Oh,
help
maybe the
with?
comptroller, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll look into it. If I can find some contacts at the court.
Well, I
we
mean,
can
we're going to
certainly
support
address
it, but I mean, I want everybody,
Yeah.
pay their
Councilman
fair share.
Baydun?
Yes, sir.
So a quick question. These boilers also provide hot tap water? They're in the
Yeah,
same
it's all hot
system?
water for the, yeah.
They're in the same
Yeah.
system?
To my knowledge, that's what
odd.
our DPW, building maintenance supervisor told me.
Really?
And,
That's
yeah.
odd.
You gotta tell me, because I don't know what that means, Councilman. You're
Well,
the
normally they
guy.
have hot water tanks for your sinks.
There may
And
be
then a
small
boiler is just
individual
for the
ones.
hot water,
Yeah.
to heat the building, the boilers.
Yeah, like at the restaurant where they have like that little, underneath the sink, it's like the instant hot water,
Nah,
right?
not really, but a boiler is used basically to heat the building. It runs, it's not a purified water system, and it runs through these pipes. It goes into the heat ducts and have a
So the boiler's
radiator
gonna
and
do
heat
both, is what you're
ducts.
saying?
No, this is why I sent all of
Yeah.
you an email of
Yeah,
today when
that's
I was
odd.
made aware via the 6-month preventative maintenance that Johnson Controls has.
It's odd.
The 2 boilers that heat the building via boiler heat are having issues too via their 6-month PM. So we're still looking into that, trying to figure out exactly the best plan of action for that. But when I'm told by my building supervisor that those are past their usable life and not recommended to be repaired, sometimes you got to make the immediate repair with a plan to hopefully replace them. But
So these are just for hot water coming out of taps?
yeah, showers, locker rooms that are there for the police
$54,000 for-
departments.
Hot water
It's
tanks.
supposed to remove all of those, yeah.
That's odd.
So,
That's odd, that's odd.
Talk to me, Councilman. I'm
No,
right
I'm
here.
just saying, normally it's, this, I assumed it was to heat the building, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
boiler.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
boiler.
I truly believe that when they were here during the budget, and I believe Chief Swope, you were in on that the boiler, the actual boiler is bad, right?
Yeah, but this is something different here. We're
So this
talking
is the
about
water heater?
We're talking about water tanks.
These are the water tanks. And I refer to, I kind of defer to the building maintenance supervisor to walk with some of these contractors as well. And they're more knowledgeable even about the ins and outs of that building than I am at the moment.
How
And
many boilers are there, if you don't mind me asking?
there's 2 for the hot water in the entire building, and then there's 2 that heat the building via the,
So all 4 of them are being replaced?
no, only 2. We were unaware of those. The other 2, I just was made aware of on Monday when Johnson Controls came out to do their PM on the boilers that heat the that heat the building, and they're having issues. So I'll just bring them to your attention.
Hang on 1 second. Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell.
Yeah, I have a question. Have you thought about on-demand hot water tanks? They take up less room and more energy efficient since you're replacing them already?
You mean tankless water?
Yeah.
On demand, same thing.
Yeah.
On demand, it's the same
It's,
thing.
I mean, it's not out of the question, but I was in the situation where if we have a building that's used by all of our police department and justice department, we have no hot water. The main goal is to get contractors in that can give us the best advice on how to remedy the issue. So,
Did we also see, that was one of my questions. On the backup of this hot water tank, let me just pull it up. Sorry, that was one of my questions.
I have it here.
If you go to boiler items,
And it doesn't keep it in the tank hot for days.
That would be, how many restrooms
Yeah,
do
go
they
ahead.
have in kitchens where they have faucets?
To be honest with you,
unsure.
that's,
How many are there?
I'm unsure. I didn't ask.
Sure?
So, Director, so
Yeah.
is this something different for commercial? I mean,
no. I mean, commercial.
hold on,
there's-
hold on, Councilman. Let him finish. Go ahead.
They're hot water boilers, not heaters.
Yeah.
Boilers, designed for buildings that operate on a high-volume system like that.
I mean, it's 370,000 BTUs, 65 gallon capacity, 80% thermal efficiency, class line stronger tanks. I mean,
65 gallon?
85
That's it?
gallon, 85 gallon,
85?
new equipment.
365 BTUs, 365,000 BTUs.
Gallon. Those are hot water heaters. Those are hot water heaters.
Those are hot water.
Oh, those are
Yeah,
right
those are
here.
hot water heaters.
370,000, and then it's. Oh, I'm sorry.
And those are 250 gallons.
What was that?
They're close to 250 gallons. I believe what's in there.
250?
When I worked there, I believe they were 250 gallons.
So this is 2 of 85 each. So that's 170.
Then they're downsizing.
Okay, guys, we got a motion on the table. The director's here, out here, doing what he believes he needs to do. I mean, I don't know much about water heaters. This is, again,
That's not my expertise. I kind of rely on the building maintenance supervisor that's been here for however many years and the 4 companies that walk through and at least try to get a grasp as to what their
I mean, we have 3 bids, Council Chair.
recommendation is, and we got 4 of them, and we kind of determined that that was the lowest qualified bidder, and based on the specs.
I mean,
building
yeah.
maintenance supervisor
And I got a
recommended
bid
that's
here
our
for
best option.
almost 110,000.
Council Chair, I mean, when I seen that bid, I said, that's so low to replace a boiler. Because, and a boiler in a building is, probably hundreds of thousands of
I thought the same
dollars,
thing. I'm like, wow, we got a boiler for 54,000.
Two boilers.
But if you look at here, we got 4 bids, one at 108,000. We have another one at 78,000. And then you have this other, 3 bids. And then you have this one here at 54,000. The reality is, they're all offering the same BTUs, or maybe, give or take a little bit, gallons are off, give or take a little bit, but I mean, you can see they're all basically saying the same thing, and one is just a lot cheaper.
From my knowledge, Allied is more familiar with that building and been working in that building longer. Like I said, I'm fairly new to both this city and these facilities. If you get a new company to come in and they're not familiar with the infrastructure of the building, they're going to bid it higher, not knowing any history of the building. So that's kind of when I discussed with our building maintenance supervisor that he recommended.
I'm sure, and Ally probably has worked in our building many times.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constan. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have Parks and Recreation Director Sauer and CEDD Director Jamal bid award on Van Houten Park parking lot replacement.
Council Chair.
Councilman, this is a long one. Councilman Ahmad.
I'll take one for the team.
Team player.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the Van Houten Park parking lot replacement project to Deponio Contracting LLC as the lowest qualified bidder in the amount of $451,974. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement. Additionally, authorize the CEDD director to approve related contractual payment applications and necessary for or unforeseen change orders and costs of city staff, contract administration, supervision in an amount not to exceed $21,324.91, and authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to issue and sign the necessary warrants for a total amount not to exceed $473,298.91. Further, authorize the comptroller to amend the following general ledger accounts to fund this project as follows. From account 103-960-917-023, balance $10,026.54 for $10,026.54 to account 103-960-938.24. From account 103-960-918-023, balance $10,681.73 for $10,681.73 to account 103-960-938.24. From account 103-960-907-219, balance $64,382 for $64,382 to account 103-960-938.24. Total of $90,298.91 as stated above to account 103-969-938.24 with balance of $350,000 from CDBG fiscal year 2024 and $33,000 from the city general fund totaling $473,298.91. Furthermore, authorize the treasurer to pay down from the unrestricted general fund pool bank account to be reimbursed from the U.S. Treasury later accordingly as outlined in 7-C.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman
was easy.
Menalowski Maxwell. Councilman, thank you for reading that.
No problem.
Going through all those different general ledgers. Any
Council
discussion
Chair?
on this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Why is this so expensive?
That's a lot of money.
It's $500,000 for a parking lot. How big is this parking lot?
What's the square footage?
Huh?
What's the square footage? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a big parking lot. You've got over by Silver Lane and then you got.
When this came brought before me, I had a resident reach out to me and ask me, said, well, why are we paying for, the parking lot when the parking lot was fairly new? Was it destroyed during the construction? I don't know the answer to that. But Mr. Deeb, Director Sauer, you guys can speak up on this.
Council Chair, while they're walking up here, I think we should show our former mayor and his family respect, and it's pronounced Van Houten, not Van Houten. It's Van Houten. Van Houten, yeah.
I don't think he meant it disrespectfully.
No, I know. I'm saying it was mentioned, that name's been mentioned several times throughout the past year or so, and it's Van Houten.
Thank you, Councilman.
Van Houten. I think I've called it Van Houten.
It is Van Houten. Actually, Lyle Van Houten was the mayor that hired me. That's why I know.
His daughter's a judge.
In 1988.
Wow.
I wasn't even born.
Me either.
Well, yeah. I don't want to recognize that. Anyway, in regards to the parking lot was in horrible shape way before the construction even started. It was all granulated and broken up and holes in it. I think I even might have pictures of the parking lot before the construction started. It was horrible. So.
Okay, I'm gonna make a quick 4th-and-1 audible, especially to get my support on this here. I'm gonna ask Mr. Deep to step up because I know he's gonna tell me, yeah, Mo, I'll make it happen. On that parking lot, I'd like to see a couple of, and this is gonna be asphalt, correct?
Yes, so yes, and it was scheduled for replacement before the project, but we intentionally left it the way it is until after construction because of equipment movement and stuff. So
I'd like to see speed humps in that parking lot, especially where there's kids are being able to walk through. I know that my parking lot recently was just done at a private business.
Okay.
And the asphalter was able to make it into a little speed hump and he sprayed it yellow. And if we're gonna be at a park, and there's gonna be kids crossing, and we are hearing from everybody that there's, this is Silvery Lane. We know that there are people speeding up and down, and we know through different videos that people do donuts in the parking lot. Look, if we added a couple of speed humps,
I'm fine.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so just so you'll know, there is the cost, it's not a simple resurfacing of a parking lot. We're changing that parking lot. The entrance off of to the park is being moved further out. Because
Good, that's great.
And we're doing an island, it's a rain garden in the center. It's a beautiful parking facility. So it is going to be, now I will look at the traffic flow inside that. So that will prevent the donuts inside.
And it'll prevent people from speeding in the park. Look, I want to be able to take my kids there, and I want to be able to let my son,
I
your
used to take
daughter.
my kids, they love that place. So
Yeah.
I will look at that, but we have different, traffic pattern now, for circulation inside the park. I will look at that. We're adding lighting, so it's a complete reconstruct. It's kind of come out.
If you talk to the homeowners in the area, all they're talking about is the parking lot is being used for donuts. We don't want that.
Okay.
When you got speed humps and especially when we're going to beautify it.
Okay.
I mean, look, it's lawlessness. You heard it, you just ran up from the residents. So if we can do these preventing measures so that people can go in there and take advantage of it, especially imagine when the person does the donut and there's a speed hump when it's snowing. They're going to pop their tire or they're going to damage their vehicle and they're going to know never to go do there again.
Okay.
You know?
I like it. It's a good
Is it
idea.
still, we're going to have one entrance, one exit?
Yes, yes, so it's further out, it's not at the intersection because of the traffic flow, and then it's going to be a better layout, and then, and it's sloped in, so we're looking at a rain garden in the center, it's a beautiful design. It's long overdue, I think it's.
Thank you.
Council
Chair?
Yes, sir, Councilman.
Does this contract include all the lighting and, is there
And
just
the rain garden.
one rain garden, or are there other green islands in the area, in that area?
No, just the rain garden in the center, so it's all shaped, so this is our
Drains
step
into it?
one in trying to get into the green infrastructure without spending too much money. Seriously, because.
I know.
There's
I'm all
underground.
about rain gardens.
Yeah, I know you do. And we have the storm system out there that's been out of commission for a while. I mean, that place, we still have the splash pad we didn't address. It needed a lot of attention.
So that includes any drainage, any sewers or anything, that's all included in this
Yes,
contract?
so what we did when we broke it down, when you awarded the park itself, we had them do the underground and stub it. So now we
Okay.
know exactly what it is, so we can pick it up without having to demo anything.
Council Chair?
Councilwoman, and then the councilman will be after.
I have a question. Yeah, there is one parking lot there by the former splash pad. What about the other side, that parking lot that used to be the Dearborn Heights Police Department parking lot? Are you doing that also?
No, that's not part of this bid.
Okay. I just wondered where it ended.
Yeah. No, just the park, just the park itself, and that's it.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Yes, sir.
And where's the rain garden going to be? In the middle, so the water's going to drain from the parking lot into the rain garden?
Partially, yes. And then we still have catch basins, but we wanted to do the rain garden, so it's both. So it's
It'll
both.
be like in the middle, for example? of
Yes,
the
it's
parking
right in
lot?
the middle, longitudinal, it should be
And then the traffic will flow one way?
around it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Council Chair,
Councilman Alonso?
did you look into the type of pavement that the water?
Yes, permeable pavement, yes, very expensive, and then also requires special maintenance. We're looking at it. So part of what we're looking in the new updates on our construction standards, the permeable as well as green finger catch basins. Finger catch basins is not the ultimate solution, but they help a lot because our infrastructure, is, at least in the storm, is really maxed out. The city is old. We max out. So instead of doing option A, which add more, piping, we're looking at new construction to do the finger drains, which means you put back, basically it does what the permeable pavement. It takes the water and then 60 to 80% of it goes back into the ground as opposed to going in pipes to the river.
And, this is a brand-new project, and this is, 2024. We should, do state-of-the-art.
Yep.
Not half, and said, I mean, this is our chance, because, everybody's into ecology and, and green. And this is a good chance. I mean, we're doing everything we can. I like the idea of the finger drains. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is less expensive than doing the underground or the permeable pavement. So this way you do regular pavement, you do the same catch basins that you currently do, you just basically deeper and you put the fingers, so the first discharge is into the ground as opposed into a pipe. And then if you overtax that system, it goes up and it goes into the river.
All right,
So
guys.
it's other communities are doing that, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not going to be porous?
To the council chair, please.
Sorry,
Yes. Go ahead, Councilman.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So it's not going to be a porous pavement, you said?
Yeah, it is porous pavement.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Director, you can stay up there if you'd like. 7C, Parks and Recreation Director Sauer. Oh, no, I just did that. Never mind.
9.
Next up, we have reports from city officials. Council Chair Baidoon, revision to policy regarding the public comments at city council meetings.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt effective immediately the revised policy regarding public comment at regular and special meetings to change Section 5 of the Dearborn Heights City Council agenda to public hearings and public comments, 2 minutes allowed for each speaker or otherwise allowed by council chair, and to remove the subsections as outlined in 9-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this? This is simply saying we're removing the public comments and announcements, and we're leaving that at the end, but we're allowing the public to continue to speak, because the last one stated that we were moving, public comments, announcements, and members from the council. And I feel like we want to hear from the residents. You can either speak on public comments on anything you want or on the agenda item. And then if the council wants to speak, they can speak at the end, and announcements can also happen at the end. And then we also limited the time to 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes. Any other discussion?
Council Chair?
Yes, sir.
I disagree. I mean, the comments from the city council, right now, they come at the end when everybody's sleeping and left. And Councilwoman Breyer, she always has some important announcements to make about all of the meetings that she plans and stuff. And I've always got something important to say at the end. But I'd like to keep it, but the council, you're saying that the city council cannot comment on announcements or anything like that at the beginning, they have to wait till the end. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying keep the public comments from the council members at the end. It's always been the same, Councilman.
Yeah, I know.
And if we can get through our meetings a lot faster, then we're gonna be able, people are not gonna have to wait through the meetings to hear it to the end, for a lot longer. But I can tell you right now, if we started the meeting before we even got to approval of the agenda, and we're having public comments, and we're talking about the agenda item, then we're hearing from the council members, then we're giving the announcements, and we haven't even started our meeting, then guess what? The most important thing is the actual meeting. People are watching these city council meetings to see what we're voting on and what we're doing. And so we're just gonna be able to continue to delay them. What we said was, we're gonna make public comments, and if you wanna speak during public comments, Councilman, and give an announcement, you're more than welcome.
You can speak as a resident.
You know? And so to me, we're trying to get these meetings to go a lot faster, and so we're not spending too much time on things. And I know everything you speak is important, but the most important thing is city council meetings are business. We're going through ordinary business on what's on the agenda. And so that's what, majority of the individuals watching at home or coming in is to see what we are voting on, who they voted for are voting on the right things. So.
Well, it doesn't, it doesn't matter if you do it at the beginning or the end, it's gonna take the same amount of time.
Well, no, because what's going to happen is we're going to have council members speaking at public comments in the beginning as council members, then they're going to speak again during council members at the end. And so now you're having, you're giving up almost 6 minutes or 10 minutes from each council person speaking in the beginning and at the end. That could be an additional 70 minutes.
Well, no.
If there's 10 minutes per council member.
Yeah, but that would never happen, but.
There are some council members sometimes. I mean, here's Councilman Menalowski Maxwell agreeing with me.
Yes.
Yeah, right now. And I'm only speaking based on what the residents say. But if you want to speak, Councilman, look, at the end of the day, you're privileged to say whatever you want at any part of the meeting.
Yeah.
If you want to stop the meeting and give an announcement, you know how I feel about you. I'm going to allow you to say whatever you want, whenever you want. I don't think I've ever stopped you from speaking or saying anything. Have I?
No comment. Anyway.
You haven't. I'm going to answer for myself. I have never told you you're not allowed to speak, ever. So, I mean, I'm going to give the comment since you refused to do so. But I will tell you, you can make your vote here, and the council can make the vote, and if not, it can stay, and if not, we move forward. Let the body make that decision.
Council Chair, okay,
All right? Any other discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a real good idea. As Councilman Dave Abdullah used to say, the former council chair, it was his idea to have the comments earlier in the meeting to begin with.
Yep.
And the meeting should be about, and people should be able to comment about the agenda, prior to going through the whole agenda, because sometimes at the end, somebody's got a gripe and we get off on whatever.
Exactly.
It's not a subject that should be discussed at the council meeting.
Thank you. Hearing any other discussion? Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, I guess. Councilman, you agree?
Well, you said I can talk anytime I want.
Next up is 9B, Treasurer Hicks Claim Delinquent Personal Property Tax Collection.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council concur with the recommendation of the treasurer and approve the selection of the trust list for delinquent personal property tax collections outlined in 9B.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman?
Yeah, I just don't know why this wasn't done sooner. Years ago, we had a collection agency collecting the delinquent personal property taxes. And then I think for years, and then a lot was done by John Riley and our former city attorney, Gary Miyake. But I think it's a good idea. I just wonder why it hasn't been done sooner.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up is 9C, Treasury's Claim Purchase and Payment using American Express points for new credit card reader equipment.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of credit card reader equipment for the Treasurer's Office using American Express, also known as Amex points, at the value of $136 as outlined in 9C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Very
Thank
easy.
you.
You're welcome.
Council
Madam
Chair,
Treasurer.
when the treasurer's up there, I was in there paying some bill, and use a debit card, they charge you extra for a debit card.
That's the processing fee.
Is it
And I'm
fair?
currently negotiating with BSNA Payment Platform to try to reduce that for our residents, in particular for utility billing, because there are some, we're dealing with water bills and what the residents are experiencing. I'm trying to negotiate it, but all credit card companies, we don't process it. We pay a company that does the processing. So that's standardized. I mean, all businesses that have credit cards are paying processing fees. They either build it into their product price or they add it on like at a gas station. When you use cash, it's less than when you use a credit card. It's going to be more because they're passing, it's a pass-through is what it is. So that's what happens.
So it's 100%, it's no markup on our end?
No, there's no
If it's a
markup.
dollar, we don't
We are
charge
paying directly to the processor. If you pay at the counter at the window, it's 3% through Point and Pay. If you pay online through DivDad, it's 2.95. And as the council knows, you all have approved the BSNA platform. I actually have a meeting with them tomorrow. I'm trying to negotiate it down from 2.95.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, I will just answer to the councilman once. So almost every restaurant or any business that you shop at with a credit card, if you ever see the gas station, it says pay cash, $2.39, pay credit card, $2.49, that's extra 10 cents. It's because of that process.
They don't do it at a grocery store.
Well, believe it or not, there's actually rumors that like Myers is about to start charging you the 3% credit card fee. Restaurants are now letting people know you're paying this 3% fee now. It's becoming, because it's becoming, it's an expense. That usually the consumer, or not the consumer, but the actual business is.
And it depends on the size of the business too. Like a Walmart, for example, that has huge volume, they get lower rates than a small mom and pop shop. So mom and pop may pay 5 to 6%, but Walmart may pay 1% on processing. So that also plays into your fees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have City Engineer Deeb and Chief of Staff Hernandez for funding scout services.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the proposal for fund and scout services between the city and Wade Trim. In addition, authorize the mayor and the comptroller to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue a one-time payment of $29,000 from GL account number 101-200-810-000 and $67,000 from GL account 592-536-818-000 as outlined in 90.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by the Honorable Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this? I will say I'm sorry I was not here earlier. I could not get out of work. I know that the meeting started at 5:30, but if I can get maybe a quick synopsis from one of the council members, Councilman Ahmad.
Council Chair, well, we still have Mr. Hoffman here. I don't know if you want to, maybe he can, you want to say, sorry, if you want to, just briefly, probably he'll do a better job. But, I mean, we did discuss point 1, 2, and, I had the issue with point 3. But, when I said it's like open-ended, basically, they're going to still help with the grant application, all this stuff, but everything's going to come for us for approval before they move on, so. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
I would suggest setting maybe a floor, so if it's a small grant that's really quick, we can get at it, and that happens quite often. And last time we did the 3,000, we don't do that anymore because sometimes it's less. So instead of saying it's 3,000 across the board, if it takes 1,500 to do a grant, we'll do it at that. The smaller grants are the ones that usually are quicker, so really quick turnaround, so coming to council, waiting 2 weeks to get started on a grant can be an issue. The larger grants that we're looking at, we can usually plan ahead and figure out how much that's going to be beforehand,
So what do you have in mind, like what kind of number for the floor?
I have a proposal. Why don't we keep the number at the floor at 3,000, but give us 4 quarterly updates? Hey, this is what we've done. This is what you guys paid. So now we can look at quarterly how many $1,500 ones and how many $3,000 ones we've seen.
That would be fair. I think we may have some that come quick, but we'll try to be more.
So that way you're not having to come to us oftenly. Just give us a quarterly what was brought forward and how much it costed us, and you can just email to all the council members.
Okay.
Council Chair, anything over 1,500, they still have to come for us.
Yeah.
So.
To be clear, so this is a challenge we've had in other communities. We will not work on a grant until it's approved. So if we are under a deadline and, we have to wait for approval, it's going to be a challenge. it could impede our ability to get grants done. So I do want to be transparent about that.
I will. I spoke with Chief Brogan, and he told us about the grant that you're bringing over to the fire department. And
That's a whole different, I didn't get to it in my presentation.
over $1 million, and it's going to be occurring every year, giving to the fire department from the
That's a
funding
state
scout.
legislative issue that we're working on. The city has not paid a dime. That's part of another initiative that we're working on, so.
Yeah.
Council Chair?
Yes, sir.
You just said something. I mean, you're not going to do any work until a grant's approved. Who's going to do the work on the grant to get it to that stage?
That's what I'm saying. If we are not approved to work on it, I'm not working on the grant. So, if the grant's due in 2 weeks and I haven't received approval, that's going to put us in a really bad spot to actually get the grant accomplished, by the deadline.
Is there, you conceive that there's going to be a period where you're going to have that money before 2 weeks, before we have our next meeting?
So other communities have done this. There's other ways. They set a cap that anything above a certain amount, we come to you before. Others just say, here's a not to exceed. You can get that quarterly report, see what our charges are. And if we need to, we're working on a lot of grants, you can increase it at that time. That's the most, that helps us the most, because we're trying to, hustle on these deadlines and trying to get things submitted for the city. If we have to wait for approval, it really puts pressure on us to make the best case possible. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I add? Council Chair had suggestion with this quarterly report. I like that idea from a management standpoint, to be able to be proactive and seek out every grant possible. I don't have an issue with a quarterly report. See what was accomplished and what the charges were. And if you see a problem with that and you think it's excessive, you let us know.
I think ultimately that's going to be the only fit. But I also think, just looking at the backup, I know that we would have 3 years with Funding Scout. I also think, and I know you have some that may, bless you, you're welcome. I know that we may also see things that may take us 3 years. I mean, who knows, Funding Scout might be with us for 10 years. I still think that there needs to be some type of clause where we can be able to leave. And I think we shouldn't exceed anything over 2 years. I think they should.
And we discussed it earlier.
I know.
The reason for the 3 year was because of the capital program that we have now. The projects are extending 3 years, and we didn't want to impede the progress on those things. And then after that, we may not have that kind of a large program, but we are catching up on a lot of stuff. And there's a lot on the table.
To me, look, we're coming to you here and we're saying you have an open check, give us quarterly updates, and then the council can always renegotiate it. But I'm more so of saying, like, 3 years of putting us to somebody, well, who knows, maybe in 2 years we want to hire a grant writer and we want something in-house. So locking us in for 3 years, I think it's counterproductive.
All right, send it back and, we just
We don't
stop
have to send
working.
it back. I think not just me. I mean, maybe other council members can give their input on it. I think 2 years is a good time. We're not saying 1 year and saying basically you're not investing in us.
Council Chair?
You got state representatives that are in office for 2 years.
Council Chair, can you is it possible, Mr. Council Chair, if we do 2 years, at the second year mark, it will extend to another year unless the council says, no, we want to do something else.
Well, no, I think they need to come back before the council, because what happens in 2 years?
Yeah.
This could be a new body.
It could be 3 years with a caveat that it's 2 years. And if you choose at the end of the 2 years to stop it, you stop it. But if not, it will automatically renew for another year.
Council Chair? We could do it like we did with the audit. We can keep it 3 years. With every year, they have to come back here for renewal.
Okay, or that way, we could put in their contract.
But my main concern still is the 1,500. If we give them an open-ended now, like to work on whatever they want, I don't want to violate the charter, because they need to come to us for approval.
Why don't we say not to exceed $3,000? That was what it was before. It was 3,000 before.
I think we should have monthly reports instead of quarterly. You wait 3 months, 3 months is a long time.
Well, because you're probably not getting a grant every month.
Well, it'd be nice to know, get an update what they're doing, what they're looking into.
Council Chair?
Yeah, but we want to know what we're spending.
If you think that 2 years is something that you're willing to accept, we would just need to come back at the next council meeting with a new proposal, with the new cost for a 2-year agreement.
I think what we were talking about, Mariana, was doing like a 3-year contract. But every year you would come back and present it to them and they will renew it.
Like we're doing the auditing.
So that means it gets approved today.
So then
It-
we
it
would
gets
still need
approved today.
to, we would still need to work on the agreement because of the
Yes.
payment fees associated with it. So you need to break it out into
So we're
three
saying if
rather
we
than
give you,
two.
we give you a 3-year contract with a year option every year to make sure as long as you're doing the right job, the fees are going to go up higher on us?
No, it's
No.
just, right now it's broken into 2 payments. We would have to break it up into 3 payments. That's what I'm
Mr.
saying.
Hoffman, can you say that in the 3 years that the fees is the same?
Yeah, the fee's the fee.
Okay, how often do you say we're getting grants from you guys? Every month or every quarter? 4 times a year or at least?
I addressed this in my presentation. This is by far our most successful client. Typically, we try to return $10 for every dollar in fee that we're paid. Right now, we're at $309 for every dollar that you paid us in fee. Our total fees for the 2 years is $86,000. That's probably half of what you'd pay a full-time grant writer who would not have that much success. We've got $26 million secured, and we have about $2.5 million left in pending grants, and that's not including anything that we're looking at down the road.
These $26 million have already been awarded to the city?
Awarded as in competitively, we've gone through the process, but we have to do the grant actually get the grant agreements. That is a process as well. That's part of the reason our fee increased, because we have a lot of that coming.
How much money have we actually received through these grants? Not what we've been, 26 million is one thing. That includes the bonds that we had to match and things like that. Is that correct?
So you don't get a dime until you do the project. So all these projects, they're happening over time. So we have to enter the grant agreements, and we have to do the project before you get the
Have
money.
we done any projects?
No, because we're just getting these grant agreements.
Okay,
So-
I'm just asking, just for my knowledge.
So Representative Tlaib came here with a big check 2 weeks ago, and that grant, we still have to enter the grant agreements. It's the city's money because it's in federal law. So we just have to get the grant agreement and then do the project, then we get the money.
So we've already paid 89,000, but we've got no money? I'm just trying to, I'm putting this in my head. I don't want you to think, Mr. Hoffman, I have heard great things about you. But again, I'm just trying to put this in my mind. We've paid $89,000. We haven't entered any grant agreements. We have proposed 26 million, but until we either do the projects, and I know it's a process and it takes time. It's not something that just, we blink our eyes and it's there. But we are projected to start seeing some of these funds and projects begin in the next year or two?
Yeah, I mean, you've issued contracts for things that will start happening next year, so.
Council Chair?
We have the first to draw. We
We
actually have draw. We processed a draw under these things. So they pay you as the work progress. They don't send you the cash up front. We have approval, and we put draws on those grants, and we process the first and
What
second.
project
I
was
believe.
that? What project?
We have-
What project is that?
The clean water SRF and the drinking water SRF. So we did both of those drawdowns, so the money should be coming in anytime soon because they approved our drawdowns.
And they approved it.
How much was it?
The draws.
Where's Valen? So I think one of them was about 215 million, I mean 15,000.
I was going to say 250 million.
215,000, and the other one was somewhere in the $70,000.
So we brought the contract to you for approval, so you approved the actual CSO contract. Now, when we have costs associated, we haven't started construction, but we can claim design and staff time, and we put the draw, and they approved it, and they sent the check. This is how all the grants work. You do the work, they don't send you the money up front. You go through the process. So we awarded the contract, and now we're drawing money.
So then there, like Councilman Baydoun, we did get money.
Yes.
We
Actually, I
actually
just
have
confirmed with the
received money.
treasurer, and she got the
Yeah.
first draw already. So you will be seeing that in the reports from the treasurer shortly with the money coming in.
Moving forward, anytime you receive any type of draws, maybe, I don't know if we could put a resolution forward that says anytime you receive a draw from any grant, we'd like to start knowing how much and where that money is going and where it's properly, at the end of the day, the council should still be knowing of these draws, what money's coming in and whatnot. And we're not trying to micromanage on how you guys are spending it, but we'd like to know. Because the rumor is we brought in $26 million. The reality is we brought in 320,000.
Okay.
You know?
I'm fine.
Council Chair?
I stay away from
Of
the
the
money.
26 million, does that include any grants that were worked on by other directors that they did all the work?
No.
That's just
This is all through funding
specifically for
scout.
the
No,
scout.
that's ours. That's 100%. Yeah.
Okay, good? I mean, we don't have an answer though on.
So are we sending it back to change the, like, so we're gonna keep it 3 years, but just renewal every year?
So I think that we would just need to amend the payment format, because right now it's 2 invoices and 2 separate dates, so we would just have to add a third. If you want, we can bring an amendment at the next meeting.
That's
where
fine, we
break
can
down
vote
the-
on this, and then that way.
Okay.
Mr. Hoffman can feel more secured, but we also have to figure out what the number is.
Well, one piece of clarity, I mean, you don't pay us $96,000 in day one. It's billed over
Yeah.
the 3 years.
Yeah, she just wanna, it's just technicality of the city. So this is just the main thing. You said, give you a floor number when you're working on the grants. So, I don't know, do you have a number in mind, you said?
I feel most comfortable with 5,000 because sometimes we can get these grants done and, get all the technical aspects and meet those deadlines. If it's bigger than that, typically we have more of a upfront kind of warning that it's coming. So before the grant's even out, we could say, we're going to go after this. And we're trying to get consistent success. I want to see long-term success here. And we actually have some good opportunities for it because the city's really never pursued funding before. So we have a lot of opportunities. We need to be very careful not to get all the grants right away. I know that sounds like you would want to do that, but you have a lot of capital projects already in place. So we're trying to be strategic about what we go after, spread it out so we're not asking year after year. Try to spread out the.
Mr. Hoffman, can you also, when you get a chance, and you specifically, not actually Mr. Deeb or Mariana, can you email us what you went out for and give us a breakdown of where the $26 million totals up to?
I've provided that several times, so
He sent the same email he sent us to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I've received that one, so can you send it to me?
I've never received it.
Yeah.
It's in what I presented tonight.
If you heard me earlier, I wasn't here earlier. I couldn't get off of work, so if you don't mind, can you email that to me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Council Chair, I would like our directors to have the ability to find these grants and write them, and
We don't have
a lot of them do that, though, like Director Jamal, he does a good job of doing it, but I understand where this comes from. We can't ask our directors to spend all their time finding grants and writing grants, they have other obligations to do. So I'm.
Thank you. All right. So do you want to amend your motion, Councilman Saab, to put a limit of 5,000, not to exceed $5,000?
It's 3,000.
No, we said 5.
5?
Yes.
I'll amend it for it not to exceed $5,000 and then to amend it back to 3 payments instead of 2.
With the yearly.
And then come back yearly for approval over 3 years
With quarterly updates.
with quarterly updates.
Thank you. Quarterly updates, $5,000, and that, repeat it from the top.
So I amend the motion to make it $5,000,
Not to exceed $5,000.
not to exceed
What's
$5,000
For each grant.
each grant. To amend it where we're making 3 payments instead of 2. To come back after every year for 3 years
For renewal.
for renewal. And to send over quarterly updates on what grants are approved or what grants are submitted.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, did you get that? Seconded by Councilman
Thank you.
Constant on the amendment. Seeing no other discussion, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have DPW Director Dancy, purchase and payment of lawn mowers.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of 2 lawn mowers from Hustler Turf at the Sourcewell contracted price via state bid, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary paperwork to execute the contract. In addition, approve the budget amendment reducing the building maintenance, repair, and maintenance equipment GL account 101-265-932-000 in the amount of $28,666, and increasing the building maintenance capital outlay GL account 101-265-981-000 in the amount of $28,666 Further, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from GL account 101-265-981-000 as outlined in 9-E.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Everybody wants lawnmowers. Next up, we have Police Chief Swope 2024 Justice Assistant Grant.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Move the Dearborn Heights City Council authorize the acceptance of the U.S. Department of Justice 2024 Justice Assistant Grant, known as JAG, in the amount of $18,038. In addition, authorize the mayor to accept and sign the solicitation and certification form as outlined in 9F.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by the Honorable Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
9G.
9G.
No, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Next up, we have 9G, Councilman Saab, Lead Lion contracts. Lead Lion on, Lead Line 1, whatever the heck you said earlier.
Council Chair.
Yes, Councilman Saab.
I'd like to move forward and put a motion forward to suspend all city contracts throughout the city with the company Lead Lion, and quote, Lead Lion, the Lead Lion, Lead Lion Corporation, Lead Lion Inc., whatever it may be, until we, honestly, I'd like to see all these contracts go out back for bid.
Councilman Saab. Motion made by Councilman Saab,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Wenzel. And I respect, democracy and what everybody wants to do. I just have a quick question. What is going on? Where is this thought process coming from? And maybe explain to the voters and, not voters, but the residents and maybe
Sure.
the clerk's office to figure out what's going on.
And it's nothing personal against this company. I don't know them from Jack, if they're sitting here or who they are. I just find it that anytime there's anything going on in the city, their hands are always tied into a project. And it's weird. We had this same issue with a street pavement project right now, talking about bids. But anything you look around in any part of the city, this company some way, somehow is involved. And then we got an email over the weekend, which I'm not gonna discuss because of legality issues. A resident stated that the engineer's friend came out and gave him an estimate, which is the same company.
What are you talking about?
The email that we talked about the house regarding the sewage issue,
Okay.
if you read the email that was sent by Hassan Ahmad,
Yeah, okay, I know that
So-
email.
but we have a sewer contract with them, a sinkhole contract with them. I looked up this company, I drove by there. They don't even have an office.
Where are they located?
Right off of Warren, they park in front of a house. And then one contract says it's, the owner is one person, another, I looked up all the LLCs and corporations, that's why I'm not sure which one we have, and I'd like, if the clerk can pull up the insurance and bonds. One is named by an Alex, the other one's named by Hussein, one of them is a different LLC, one of them is a different corporation. Which one are we dealing with?
Let me ask you, and I agree with you. All you want is transparency.
That's it.
Is Lead Line doing a bad job?
I don't know what they do.
Great question. Great question.
Council Chair.
Yes, sir, Councilman
Does
Wenzel?
Councilman Saab, do you know of how many contracts we have with them?
I think that's what he's looking for.
So to be honest with you, I looked up at one that apparently we're paying on, and it's not even a signed contract, which we got right here.
Can I see it? Was it not voted on?
It was not, it wasn't complete. There was something that was missing, and it was never brought back and never complete. And I've sent an email multiple times to Mr. Deeb, and of course, Roger has to always chime in with his opinion. I just want to see, because, again, as you can see, this company here,
Lead Lion Inc.
signed by this guy, if you go on the state's website,
Alex, okay.
it's a different company with a different name, same mailing address, but different business address.
Was this the individual that did our
Sign,
sign?
yep. So I'd like all their contracts to be put back, suspended and put back out for bid. I don't know if this is some kind of friendship in the city, or a buddy system or whatever it is. Our
let's
job
not-
is to be, our job is to be transparent, our job is to be fair, our job is to be, we have a duty with taxpayer money, and honestly, I don't think, based on a sinkhole and tap sewer lead, I don't think they're qualified. Prove me wrong. I mean, I personally went out of my way to look up this address, to go pass by this property, look at this business. They're parked in front of a lawn in front of a house. And this is not the type of companies we should be looking at and hiring because of the lowest price. Because honestly, I want to see the work they've done. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Ahmad, you got the floor.
Council Chair, thank you. I was just going to say for Councilman Saab, I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and suspend until you receive all the paperwork you're looking for, all the contracts, all the bonds, all the insurance that they need to
I
have.
don't think it's available.
Well, if it's not available, then it's, that's your answer right there. So just to be fair across the board.
But let's also, let's not come out and say they did this or they didn't do that.
I'm sorry. I mean, when you're talking about sewage, tapping into sinkholes and stuff, you'd want to at least, we had companies come out here with millions of dollars worth of equipment and employees and everything. Roger, don't interrupt.
Please don't speak to me that way.
Okay, go through the chair. When I'm talking, don't interrupt.
I'm talking to the council chair.
I'm talking.
I'm talking to the council chair.
So you respect the chair.
Yeah, you respect me
Stop
too.
talking. I don't have to
Don't point
respect
at
you.
me.
Don't point at me.
I think you are.
Come on,
Who do you
Roger.
think you are pointing at me?
Roger, guys, come on. Hey, Roger, please go through the chair. You're going to have your time to
Yes,
speak.
council chair.
Guys, we don't have to, calm down.
It doesn't,
Love each other.
again, I don't have to love nobody. My question is here is, I've been asking for this information for over a month. And then on the weekend, we get this email I'm talking about, it has nothing to do with the house that we're discussing about. And Roger chimes in, this is a cease and desist.
So, I mean, I think Councilman's got some valid points here. If somebody doesn't have a signed contract, nobody knows what this person is doing, bring it before the council, let the council make the decision on it, and either vote yes or vote no.
No, council chair.
I don't think this is about anybody personal or anything like that. Hey, Roger, I'm going to give us 2 minutes on this floor, on this topic.
I just need 1 minute.
Oh, even better, 60
If
seconds.
If a company, council chair, is involved in negotiations and we're involved in litigation or potential litigation with the city, there's one contract that this company has. And I'm concerned, and what I said in my email is this councilman is representing a homeowner against the city, which would be violating his fiduciary responsibilities. He comes forward with these aspersions and allegations that without any backup or any documentation to support it. Okay, you suspend this and then you open us up for further liability where a company is helping us in a negotiations and settlement of a claim. So therefore, do your homework, come to us with documentation other than your personal beliefs so we can professionally examine the issue and not deal with emotion or what personal issues you have. There's only one contract I'm aware of, and Mr. Dibb can speak to this, that this company is working with the city. And the contract that I'm aware of is we have a lawyer that's representing us on this matter, and you're interfering with the legal proceedings as we try to resolve this issue.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's 2 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. Yep, Councilman Constant?
Well, yeah, and I would just like some background. Maybe we can have a study session on this, I mean, as soon as next week, but especially if it's in litigation. We're talking about the Lead Lion, the same company that was involved with the lights.
No, that's IB. You mean the market?
The lead, we're talking about the Lead Lion, is that correct, Councilman Saab?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Yes,
just
sir.
a quick question for Mr. D. Are they involved in a contract or construction work that's vital currently?
Thank you, Mr. Deeb. Lou.
So the only contract I know of that they currently have is that on-call as-needed publicly bid contract for sewer lead backup. So if you recall, a couple of years ago, we had sinkholes in backyards. And so we put that contract out to bid, duplicating what City of Dearborn does. It's an on-call, so when you have a sinkhole, the company will be called, the contractor, and they investigate whether it's a resident or the city's pipe, and then they pay accordingly. That's the only contract I know of, aside from, I believe they had a signed contract with the Kim over there. So that's it. It's an on-call as needed. Is it critical? They've addressed 4 or 5, and the only reason I got involved in it is because it was the predecessor, DPW, and they needed help with, but it was publicly bid and awarded and council approved, so that's.
Mr. Deeb, can we have a copy of that contract?
Sure,
Executed contract?
it's in the.
So this is what Councilman Saab, that he's been asking, but nobody had supplied, and the clerk does not have a copy
So
of
there
that.
were some confusions here. Over the weekends, the issue that we're talking about over the weekend was a claim under a totally separate contract.
Yeah, we're not discussing that.
Totally, but the name came up. So there are 3 bids. One of them was, but it was never awarded. It was an estimate.
100%.
It was an estimate. It was never awarded. No work was ever done. That was an estimate. So they provided an estimate the same as other
No,
companies
I know,
did.
but just to
So
be
that-
fair and
that's-
clear, Councilman Saab was not even discussing that claim. He was
I
just.
understand, but-
That name came and he asked for that contract, that's it.
Insinuation that it was a friendship and that is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true. It was, that one contract was publicly bid, and we can get the breakdown and whoever bid against them, and the council approved
Chair.
it. So
Hang on 1 second, Roger, please let him finish.
Yes, no, I'm
Roger,
supplement.
please let Mr. Deeb finish. Thank you, sir.
So if you want the breakdown of that publicly bid contract and the resolution that it was bid, and you guys approved it, I'll bring it. It's nothing.
Council Chair, to supplement what Mr. Dibb said, Mr. Dibb, there was a specific property address that was mentioned in the email.
Yes.
On Gully.
Yes.
That's what this property was involved in, and that's where we have a claim with the city.
Yes.
And this company was being asked that the contract would affect 2 other higher bids, and this one came in lower. So that contract being disclosed will affect the company working on the property that was specifically identified. Excuse my cold.
Council Chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Council Chair. Mr. Fahrenheit, I think the mistake here, that Councilman Saab should have sent an email separately asking for the information that he needed, but somehow he replied with that email asking for, but it has nothing to do with that address, with that claim. He's been asking about that company, and I think I've been CC'd on a couple of emails that he's been asking several people that he wants he wants to see those contracts for all these those companies, but nobody supplied those
And
contracts.
rightfully so, he has that right, Roger.
My concern is not interfering with the process of negotiation.
No,
that's involved.
nobody is.
Now, that company is involved in it.
Yeah, we're not.
Now, let's work it out. If that company is involved in one of the companies that's bidding, it's lower or whatever it is than the other companies there, then you disclose that company contract to Mr. Saab. So Mr. Saab takes it and passes it to the homeowner. The homeowner is negotiating, litigating possibly with us. Now he knows how to try and sabotage that one company that's lower than the other 2 companies. Now we have tortious interference with our performance of our duties and our fiduciary responsibility. Your responsibility as councilman, my responsibility as legal attorney, to protect and do the best for the city to get the lowest bid. But if somebody gets hold of that and interferes with that, we got a problem.
I don't think that was the aim from that email. The aim was just he wants.
But that's
yeah.
why I stopped it.
That's why I said it should have been in a different email asking whatever he wants to ask, nothing to do with this address. But thank you, Mr. Whatever you have about that company, if any contract with the city, we need one contract.
That's sewer repairs, sinkholes, publicly bid.
Is it executed, signed by everybody, good to go? They have everything in?
And I think there were 4 assignments or 3 assignments.
So I guess we need a copy. The clerk needs a copy because she doesn't have a copy either.
You don't have a copy? Okay. It's fine.
So, Councilman Saab, you want to just keep it whatever it is
Yes.
until you receive that contract?
No, actually, I'd like to cancel these contracts, put them back out for bid.
Well, let's get the contracts
Okay.
first before we start removing.
Yeah, let's just.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, let's not jump the thing.
So we're suspending all work done by Lead Lion until contracts are sent over. Motion made by Councilman Constant, I'm sorry, go ahead.
City Engineer Deep, did I hear you say they also do work for City of Dearborn?
No, we followed the process of what the city of Dearborn does.
Lighting.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Keeps lighting.
How quickly could we get the contract?
What's my screen?
So maybe we can,
Driving my wife's crazy.
I have to go dig it up, but, yeah, I mean, it was, so I'm gonna have to go to the buyer. Again, when we go out to bid, I put the RFP out, and bidders submitted bids, went through the process. One company was low, recommended, went to council, got approved. I will go dig up all that data and send it to you. It was a simple contract, and it was publicly bid and awarded, so I mean, there is nothing unusual about this contract.
the council wants to
Except
consider
allergic
suspending the contracts if we don't get a copy of the contracts within 10 days?
No, we're suspending. My motion is to suspend them.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Ahmad. Any other discussion?
My Councilman Wenzel.
Councilman Wenzel, any other discussion?
Are we amending it?
No. No. We're suspending their work until,
Until contract is received and reviewed by council and clerk.
So we are amending it a little bit.
we're suspending it until we receive their contracts.
Second, Mayor.
Are we adding this amendment?
What
We're
amendment?
amending,
Are you amending the motion?
Yeah.
So what, no, the original motion is saying we're suspending everything until the contract is sent over to the clerk.
Okay, and we-
so we are amending it.
It's incomplete.
Yeah. Councilman Saab wants to make sure the writing verbiage says that it is incomplete,
Until signed contract is
so the signed
presented.
contract and it's sent to all council.
No.
See that?
If it's not if it's incomplete, it's going back out for bid. It's incomplete. I have it right here. It's not complete. It's going back out for bid. We should never let anybody do work in the city without their contract fully executed.
Okay, let's get the actual contract, the one that Mr. Deeb has, and we'll go from there. Is that fair? We'll bring it to the next council meeting. Fair?
No,
It's up to you guys.
no.
I think
My
that's a
motion-
good idea.
My motion
Go
is
ahead.
you have a contract that's been in place, that's getting executed, work is being done by the city that's not complete.
Right, if what you say is correct, it's not right, but
So it should go back out for bid if it's not complete.
we need to
correct.
see that.
It's not, I have it right here. It's not correct.
Madam Clerk, do you know if it's incomplete?
This is from the clerk.
That is the backup that was presented to council. As far as we know, we don't have a signed contract.
So
We
it could be
not find a
signed, but was
signed
never given to the clerk.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Let's get that first, and then you can go back out.
Sounds good.
Fair?
Who's,
Okay. So, George, you need any assistance there?
With the motion?
Councilman Saab, please give him the motion.
Are we amending the motion at all?
No.
No, okay.
And if it is incomplete, once it's given to us, we will then make we'll add something to, I'll allow the councilman to put something in the next
Okay.
council meeting to allow it just to go
Then
out for
we're
bid,
okay.
to complete it. All right?
Yep.
Any other discussion?
Council
All in
Chair.
favor? Yes.
So it's to suspend all contracts
For now.
for now.
All in favor, please state aye.
hi.
Aye.
Let's go. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No,
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Tom Wenzel?
No, I mean, yes, yes.
You seconded it, I would think.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell?
Yes.
Robert Constant?
no.
Hassan Ahmad?
Yes.
Hassan Saab?
Yes.
And Moe Dun?
Yes.
Motion carries. 45521.
All right. Number 10, petition from citizens, none. Next up, ordinance and resolutions. Council Chair Baydun's resolution regarding water consumption investigation by an independent party.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the city of Dearborn Heights, whereas the residents of Dearborn Heights have expressed significant concerns regarding the rising water bills, which have become increasingly burdensome for many households, and whereas the city council is committed to ensuring transparency, accountability, and fair pricing in the management of public utilities. And whereas an independent investigation is necessary to assess the operations, billing practices, and overall management of the water department, free from any potential conflicts of interest, and whereas the finding of such an investigation will provide the City Council with critical insights and recommendations to address the concerns of residents and improve the water service provided. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Dearborn Heights hereby authorizes the issuance of a request for proposal RFP for an independent party to conduct a comprehensive investigation of the water department, and be it further resolved that the investigation will include but not limited to the following areas: review of current water billing practices and rates, analysis of operational efficiency within the water department, examination of any potential discrepancies in water usage and billing, assessment of customer service and responsiveness to resident inquiries and concerns. Be it further resolved that the selected independent party will report directly to City Council, ensuring that the investigation is conducted without influence from city officials or the water department or city administration. And be it further resolved that the City Council will allocate the necessary funds to support this investigation, prioritizing the financial well-being of our residents. Be it finally resolved that the Council Chair, Council Pro Tem, shall publish this resolution and proceed with the RFP process promptly with the goal of selecting an independent investigator. Adopted this by 10/22/2024 by the City Council of Dearborn Heights.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Any discussion? Since it is mine, I will just take the floor. I know I spoke a little bit about this. I heard a little bit from our comptroller, who is new to our city and who oversees the water department. I assured her, I am assuring the new DPW director, this has nothing on you guys. There's nothing on your employees. But what I can tell you is, I promise you, every single day, every time water bills come out, people are calling us and saying this basic necessity can't even be used in Dearborn Heights. It's unfair. And unless any council member here or any administration or anybody in this room right now can tell me why the basic necessities are skyrocketing in Dearborn Heights, I will remove this and I will table this right now. But until you can give me a good reason as to what is happening, I was just recently added into 2 different group chats. One on the, where the Riverside Raiders play. What is that area called? The subdivision?
The River Oaks?
The River Oaks subdivision, and I was just added into another group chat which is called the Military Hills subdivision. Over 260 residents in both different group chats chewing me up. What is going on? We can't afford this. This is crazy. We just heard a resident today said he got a $14,000 water bill. I mean, we're not talking, your bill from 100 to 180, which would be like, okay, hey, why is my bill going up $80? We're hearing $10,000 water bills, $14,000 water bills, $5,000 water bills. These are not normal. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, and I have no way, shape, or form of investigating this, and it'd be silly for the city administration to investigate its own department. Doesn't make any sense. A third party needs to go out there and tell all of us, and to the residents, we at least owe this to the residents. So I'm going to stand very firm on this, and I think it's unfair to our residents. And so when you make this vote, you make this an argument. I know I heard from your former councilman, when we say we're short-staffed or we don't have enough people, that's still not the answer. Short-staffed does not come back and answer why somebody's water bill is $800 when they're living by themselves and they do their laundry out at the laundromat because they don't have a washer and dryer. We can't keep telling our residents. For 2 years, I walked up into the water department. I said, can you give me this bill? They said, well, it went through the water meter. They must have a water leak. Your toilet must be leaking. Your toilet must be leaking. You have a water leak. You have a water leak. And for 2 years, I stayed quiet and I took it in. I said, you think they got a water leak? Give me this address. And there was times where I've asked for 5 addresses in one day. I said, what do you think happened here? And it shows the units went from 13 to 72. I said, hey, this other address went from 13 to 72 as well. They both must have water leaks. Okay, what about this one? Oh, they got water leaks as well. And I would just nod my head and I would take it and I'd go back to the residents and I'd say, you have a water leak. You know what the residents would do? Instead of paying, $2,000, they'd say, let me call the plumber so I don't have another one. The plumber says, you don't have a water leak. And then the next month, they only had 13 units. I don't have an answer, guys. I don't know why it went from 13 to 72, then back down to 13. And it was 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Okay, let's call it 4 months. It would have went from 13 to 20. Why did we go to 72 twice? Something just doesn't add up, in my opinion. I don't want to make any allegations, but I personally think that our water bills are paying for different things in the city, and we're billing our residents through their water bills. That's what I truly believe in my heart. But let the investigation tell it for itself.
Council Chair?
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. I called for a private investigation a year ago, and then at the last meeting, I asked for one. I'm glad you grabbed the ball and went with it. We should definitely do this. Maybe start on a smaller scale, have someone go in that's not a full-blown thing and kind of look into it and say, okay, I found something, now we can go into it big time. If you found someone to do it for free, though, you mentioned earlier.
So I'm speaking with an agency through different parts of government, somebody in Lansing that who's really been helping me and communicating with me on this, who has said, you put this resolution forward, I'm taking it to this agency, and they're gonna go out and they're gonna investigate it for us. From what I'm hearing also, the FBI is also looking into this because there's somebody that has reached out to the FBI and said, I bypassed it. I got a sticker from the city saying you're overusing me on your water, and this guy don't got a water meter. Are we just putting this on everybody's water? So many people have called me and said, what are you talking about? Use the same amount of laundry and everybody in the block got it. So does that mean everybody on the block has a water leak? Or do we just go out there and say, hey, we know we're going to charge people extra this month, so we stuck tags on everybody? I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know the answer. The director can't tell me. The director can't tell me. The mayor can't tell me. The engineer can't tell me. The staff members working at the water department can't tell me. And it's not the job for. And I feel bad for the women that work in the water department because they're getting chewed up all day and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. The individuals that work at the water department are hearing angry residents saying, I got a $14,000 water bill. They're trying to conduct, and they're just saying, well, you must have a water leak. I don't know why you got a $14,000 water bill.
Well, Council Chair, and it's no secret that our water department is our cash cow in the city. When somebody needs some money, they borrow it from the water department. And I know we have an enormous amount in our water budget. 90 million or something crazy like that.
I think it was like 20.
Council Chair,
how much is
Council
it?
Chair.
I'm more concerned about the investment.
Well, let's
Okay,
and then the treasurer and I had a conversation today as well, talking about what we once used to spend. I think she told me we used to spend $2.5 million from our water department. We are now spending $13.5 million
So that's
from our water.
investments, which is what I shared with you.
Yeah.
Because as we know, we invest what's called idle money that we don't need that for expenses or whatnot. When I became treasurer about 4 years ago, the average investment total for water was 2 to 5 million at the most. Right now, you have 13.5 million invested.
Oh, man, there it is. That's where the guy's
That's all idle
$14,000
money.
water bill came from.
Well, Council Chair.
Council Chair,
we
if I-
get.
if I
Hang on 1 second, Roger. I'm gonna let you speak.
Thank you, sir.
We get a lot of things come before us where a certain department want to borrow money from the water department and we okay it. But I don't ever, and I know it's shown up in the budget. I don't remember
That's never
seeing.
come before us here.
No, it has. It has.
No, there's the clerk. It's not since I've
It's
been at
typically
council.
at the end of the year and it's
Yeah.
transfer, it's a loan and to
Yeah.
cover the money for
And
general, but it
I don't
hasn't
remember
been to
seeing
you in
where
a
it's
while.
paid back. Itemized where it's paid back. It's itemized in the budget where it went out, but I don't see it coming back in those sections. Do we have something that?
I have an exception to that. I worked in the treasurer's office when that happened, and Treasurer Riley would present it to the council for, it was a loan, and it was with the payment of interest. And I prepared the paperwork, and I seen the wires, so I know in fact that money was returned.
Madam Clerk, but we're not
to the
doing
water.
that today.
No, you haven't done it, in the 4 years. No, this is when it was just cash flow. Until the tax money started coming in July.
Roger,
And the last date share
Council
revenue,
Chair,
blah, blah, blah.
and I appreciate what you've stated. I would just add, I know we just settled a $800,000 lawsuit for water and flooding, and we've had 2 other lawsuits over $1 million each in the last 8 years. We've also had about 200 pipes, I believe, breaking, but busting within the city because of the infrastructure. So I appreciate you getting an outside company to look at that. 200 in 1 year is a lot. I know that it's breaking, so I think when you do it, make sure we expand it to our infrastructure, our pipes, our streets, our homes, to see what's going on, and I appreciate that very much, sir.
Roger, and I'm not here to argue or debunk anything you're saying, but it does still not answer the guy that lives on Simone that says I used 13 units and I used 72 units. And 3 months later, after I was called out on it, I went back down to 13 or 15. I have the bill. I have the 2-year work history.
There's no
From 13
borrowing.
units,
Council.
72 units, 13 units. You know what's funny? The next person that spoke to me went from 2 units, 75 units, 12 units, 75 units, back down to 15 units. So like, okay, if we spent $800,000 and we spent $1 million, we got $27 million in there. That doesn't tell me why their units are being outrageously charged.
Council Chair.
And again,
I can't say
again,
why,
none of us
but-
know the answer.
No, Council
Everybody is telling me something different.
Okay. I'm just going to add that how there's no borrowing between different departments or using it as a slush fund or anything like that. You
No,
can
I
ask
agree with Roger on
Mariana,
that because nothing has
but
come before us on it in the last 3
You'll
years.
see, I guess, with your investment.
What is it? Yeah, I'm saying, so that has not happened. So I agree with Roger on that. We have not used it as a slush fund because in the last 3 years, there was one vote recently and me and Councilman Wenzel both voted no on it. And it was for the CSO bond. And I said, well, let's bring our water rates up. And they said, yes, but in order for us to do this, it was going to have to. And I voted no on it. So no, I can tell you when it comes to water, I'm stingy on it because, guys, my water bill is a lot. And it's expensive. I hate paying a water bill on Comcast. It's like they're always up.
Always
And
up.
Council Chair, I appreciate you going after the meters and getting better contracts and talking with Mr. Dibb so we can have better resources to measure the water coming out, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chair, really quickly, I think.
I'm going to have Councilman Saab go first.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead.
Council Chair, the problem is that we need to look at are the meters inside the homes. After the meter is where the residents are getting charged. So the pipes and infrastructure, I understand it's old, but it does not answer the question, the meters that are being read at home. And second question is that, Director here, maybe you would have this, do you know any time when our equipment was ever calibrated, certified? These readers that they go out and read with?
Hey,
If by any chance, I know you came out one day, you helped me out with a meter.
I just wanted to provide just some observations and kind of logical perspective coming into this situation in this city in the last 2 months. And so I tried to do just some basic math because this city over the course of however many years has been going on, I feel like decisions have been made that have slowly gotten the water department out of where it needs to be. So like this city in particular is reading meters in like 30 years ago time. So we literally have meter readers going out, plugging into homes, and it's taking a lot of time. It's delaying the whole process. It's a difficult decision when you look at, when I bring up individual accounts and try to assess the situation where we're at and how we got here and how we got to the point where we're getting a lot of high bills that, agreed, nobody wants to pay high water bills. They just want to make sure they're accurate, they're billed timely, the equipment is up to date, we're able to read it accurately. That's what everybody wants to see, even from the department. I take no offense to council or council chair saying we need to look into this and figure out why some of these things happen. From my initial perspective, though, and I'm glad that working with City Engineer Dibb and Neptune and Ferguson, who produced the meters, that we're finally getting to a point where this city is going to upgrade a large-scale meter change out so that we're able to accurately read them. We're not spending, I kind of did the math. So we have 3 meter readers currently, 23,000 roughly accounts. If you add it all the way down, in order to get efficient reads, you're looking at each individual reader getting 24 reads per hour. And if we have to go to individual houses to expect if they're working, that's if they're working a full 8 hours, 40 hours a week, which is not the case if you have somebody off or somebody sick or somebody on vacation or lunch breaks. So just the basic math of getting effective reads in this city has declined over the course of however many years prior to me being here, prior to a lot of us being in the seats that we're in. But as we move forward and we start to get more accurate reads, I think it's going to help be able to get out timely bills, because this, in my opinion, coming into this middle of August and seeing some of these high bills, it's inexcusable for the city to somehow miss a billing cycle, if in the charter we're supposed to bill out every 60 days, somehow miss a billing cycle, and I can somewhat understand why it happened. If we have turnover at the top, we have employees either off for summer vacation, things get backed up, we're getting complaints already that we're trying to handle as an employee in the front line. We miss a billing cycle, so now we're sending out bills that are for double the amount of time during high usage times, and we have a list that the comptroller was able to send me of 80 pages of estimated meters that over the years have either stopped working, the reader box on the outside of the house has stopped working, but the meter still works. So if you actually got a visual read, you can get an actual read. There's a lot of instances where over the course of time, we haven't been staffed enough to have somebody come out, repair meters effectively to get into a program. Hey, 1 or 2 cycles go by as an estimated read. We use the last accurate reads and actual reads that we got, find the averages, estimate based on that, and we make sure that we get out to repair and change out a meter effectively within a cycle or 2. So, at least in my opinion, I like having the interest in water. This is why I got into this field, is I like having the interest in water meters and like how can we make them accurate, bring them down, make sure that we're getting fair rates from Great Lakes Water Authority and not kind of getting the short end of the stick from Great Lakes Water Authority who sets the rate from the city. Because obviously the city is paying a water bill every month, just like every resident is. And if those aren't accurate, then we have discrepancies in water loss. But I don't take any offense to us looking into this and saying as a council, as a city, as a department, as residents, everybody just wants it to be accurate and timely bills to go out. And I feel like we can get there, but over the course of time, we've spoken offline and we have discussions, and we're going to continue to try to be clear and have discussions. As for individual accounts or as a big scale as to why some of these bills get to where they're at, when we look at each individual account, and I welcome you guys to kind of bring some of these addresses, so either the comptroller, me, you guys, we can discuss and figure out what's going on with a particular account. Because if we have 80 pages, I couldn't add up the actual number, it was just in pages of addresses that have had estimated accounts within the last year. Right, meter doesn't work, we can't get a read on it, we're not staffed with a meter reader currently. How do we get to the point where, this is why a large-scale meter change-out is going to help, where we can start to address all these estimated ones and make sure everybody's getting accurate, timely bills. So, I don't know, that's a little bit of my expertise, my foresight or vision for the fact that we can get a handle on this. I don't think it's out of the ordinary. Other cities have dealt with this. I mean, you hear of stories of Detroit of having this instance where you get bills that for whatever reason over the course of time and kind of a lack of investment in a department or awareness in anything, small changes have occurred over the course of however many years to now we're literally reading meters where we have 3 meter readers going out and expecting to get 24 reads an hour, which when you think about, okay, 24 reads in 1 hour is okay. Now, if you do that day in and day out and you get 5 that don't work, but you got to go to the next one, I can see how this kind of snowballed into the fact that now, all of a sudden we send out bills in October for May, June, July, and August. That is 4 months instead of 2 months, and it's the busy months. And when you're looking at 23,000 accounts, I'm not as caught off guard that 2 could be the same. It could be a coincidence, but when we bill in units, it's possible that on these smaller ends, if you're talking about like a $400 bill over the course of 4 months, could be on the minimum side of our bills. When you're billing in units, it's possible that in a given month, 2 households of similar size, it's amazing how consistent everybody's water use actually is over the course of time. That they could be within the 748 gallon units that we bill. So it's not necessarily like their exact amount of gallons were the exact same. So. And when you add in some of the fixed charges, I could see how it's possible. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent. It takes us to look into it to make sure it's accurate. But I appreciate the time for anybody that listened or wants to know at least a vision for the department as a city. I mean, I come in here and everybody just wants them to be accurate and timely. And right now I feel like a lot of them are accurate. They haven't been timely. So you're running into an issue. Like even when I spoke to that gentleman here that came in with a $14,000 water bill, shame on the city for not getting on top of it ahead of time to send out bills timely, right? If somebody moved in, and also the resident, you move into a home, hey, I haven't received a water bill in a year and a half, but we're getting actual reads on the meter. The usage is accurate, but the whole process is broken down, or it's not. Shame on the city for not sending out timely bills. and on residents if you're not going to come and address it. And we do need to work, in my opinion, at least a little bit on some customer service. It's hard when you're on the front lines of dealing with some of these issues day in and day out, but it's not an excuse from the city perspective to say, hey, our goal is to make residents' bills accurate and timely so we can bring them down so they're manageable levels. So
Thank you.
any other, I mean, that's just kind of my initial communication / view as to where we can go. And I don't take any offense. I think it's good that we look into, a department, try to make it as accurate as we can.
Thank you, Director. This is basically, there's nothing against anybody in the city or any department. Basically, you guys should look at this as a help.
Yeah.
Since they've been saying we're understaffed and stuff like this, so this should help the city and help the department. But since you mentioned that gentleman that came up here, and I understand where you're coming from, but what's the explanation of double billing the bill not once, twice?
I'll look into it. It's a process, yeah. It's
So
likely a process
there's something
there that I
in the
haven't
system
yeah.
somewhere that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, but I'm not gonna repeat all the stuff that all the council people said, so I think we should take this to a vote.
Yes.
Council Chair, just one more question, I'm sorry. Mr. Dancy, just for people with sprinklers, I know in other cities, other municipalities use double meters, one with sewage and water and one just for water.
Yes,
I don't
so some
understand.
cities offer a program for irrigation meters is what they'll call them, so you don't pay the sewer charge
Right.
on anything that goes through the irrigation meter. In my opinion, the city is very far removed from being able to put that into place and make it effective and accurate. I wish I could tell you different, but just from my perspective coming into the city and knowing that a lot of cities don't bother with it and say, unfortunately, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the staff, we don't have the ability to effectively make it fair and accurate and standard. It would take a very large amount of investment from this city, in my opinion, to get to that point. I feel like we're steps away from getting to that.
Well, my question is to you is that, how about if the resident himself wants to invest in that second meter and have it installed through his own plumber, and the city installs that meter?
We would have to set up some policies and procedures and make it standardized.
That's a great idea.
I don't want to tell residents no, right, if they want to be able to set up a way to be able to.
Because their sewage rate.
Do that, yeah,
The sewage rate is more than the
is
water rate
sizable.
if they're
I
watering
agree.
their grass or filling up their pool.
You got any input?
So Councilman Saab, the way we pay for sewers, we're not allowed to do that. So we already looked into it. So we pay sewers treatment charge based on water consumption. So what they do is, and we manage that, and so we're part of a larger community that actually pays. So DUA, I'm the city rep on the DUA table for the technical part. So what we were able to do as a 14-member communities that discharge into the DUA system to work out a winter average billing. So basically the 3 winter months are the ones, because we know we are not, irrigating your grass. You're not watering the grass in the winter. We take those consumption and report that. It's self-reporting. So basically, when we pay the sewer bill to DUA, we report the water consumption in that district. So part of all, now that you heard all the details of how the water system works, on the larger picture, we checked on the technical part, how much water we bought, how much we sold, and then to find out what the losses were. And we were reasonable, not perfect. Normally about 10, we're about 15%. Now that's the real large level, how much water we lost. So now we go into the next step. The largest part of your water bill is the sewers. So we have 2 sewer districts in the city of Dearborn Heights, right? We have the north side and the south side. DUA is more expensive than Rouge Valley RVSDS, right? Rouge Valley Sewer Disposal System. But we combine those 2 rates and then we bill uniformly across the city. DUA charges, so we report winter months consumption. So I don't have to go and actually say, in the summer I pay that much, in the winter I pay that much for sewers. We pay uniform based on the 3 months of winter.
Thank
Well,
you.
Mr. Deeb, my question to you is, isn't that robbery? Because the water I'm spraying outside, feeding my lawn or spraying my grass, it's not going to sewers.
No, I understand. But so we have, all right, all of the water that we buy year round ends up being reported. So the alternative is to go in and meter your sewers. alternative. You can say meter is source, but that, we looked into that. So there are only 2 communities out of the 14 that actually meter their source. It is charged from the city into the system, and they actually meter it and say, I'm only going to pay based on what I discharge into the system. However, those communities are right next to the river, so it was easy. Or on top, like, Romulus, upstream, so there's only one pipe discharge. When we looked at Dearborn Heights, for that DUA district, I have 4 primary coming from Dearborn and Taylor, and then coming out. So I have to meter mine and deduct what's coming upstream. It's a nightmare. So it was, and maintain the meters. So any potential savings on sewer rate, I'll have to pay for the maintenance of the new meters, which I just installed.
Thank you, guys. I don't want to keep spending too much time on this. We're spending, and now we're getting way off of what this actual resolution is. Thank you,
Chair,
Mr. Deeb.
I have 4 words.
Yeah.
Please itemize water bills.
Yes.
Okay?
And so I actually want to,
Let's do that.
we can put a resolution for that. But on this here, right here, I'd like to amend this and ask Madam Clerk and maybe Councilman Ahmad and Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell will amend that there will be no late fees from now till December 31st for all residents on these bills. And I only say this because 4 months, people are outraged by this. Holidays are coming around the corner. Let's give I know we did this last year for our residents. Let's give them another break and say from now to December 31st, you can pay this bill without a late fee. And then I'd also like to have this published on our city website. Fair?
Amend it. I'll second it.
Come on.
Okay, I would like to amend this motion to add, be it resolved that no late penalty fee till this, is that good?
December
Madam Treasurer?
31st.
December 31st.
That's what we did last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did
Or
it.
did we push it to
first.
January?
December 31st. You had it right
December
to New
31st.
Year's Eve.
We can always go back and adjust it.
No late fee till December 31st, December 31st, 2024.
Through December 31st.
Yep.
Council Chair, I have one more question for Council Chair Pro Tem. Investigator within, what was the time frame?
I didn't put no time.
Yeah.
So then
We
don't
want to be able to
have
hear from different agencies.
Investigator, period, as outlined. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Second
No wonder I didn't hear it.
Motion amended by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Any other discussion?
Good
Hearing.
idea.
Huh?
It's a good idea.
Thank you.
And I think the new DPW director agreed with us, which is
Yep.
great.
Thank you. Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have new business, Randy's Robindale Bar.
Council Chair.
I'm going to give this to Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. I know it's her friend. Maxwell.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so. You told me that last time, right?
No.
Maybe not. Forgive me.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for Randy's Robindale Bar located at 25122 Warren as outlined in 13A.
Second.
Motion made by Director. Motion made by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, second by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have temporary food truck tent cart license renewal application for Shawramji.
Council Chair,
Yep, 13B.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the temporary food truck tent cart license renewal application for Schwarmzy as outlined in 13B. If I said it right.
All right, motion made by Councilman Constant,
Schwarmers are us.
seconded by?
I second for discussion.
Second for discussion. All right, here we go.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I had an issue with them moving their trailer back to the way it's facing, but I talked to Rick earlier. Rick said the building next door, I guess, agrees with where they're
That's
at.
what, yeah, I spoke with Ajmi. That's what he wanted.
And then, that's it. And then actually to the clerk, this just came in front of us a few months ago.
180 days.
Has it been 180 days? Okay.
Also, I spoke with, when I saw this was being here added, I spoke with, the attorneys next door who was initially having an issue with them. They said they've been a lot cleaner. They've been cleaning up. They're actually like scrubbing with soap. He said, I've never seen that before, but I was glad to hear that. neighbors are able to accommodate for each other, and, you know, they said that they eat it and they enjoy it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have members of the public. We got comments from council members.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Just a few things I want to, talk about, the war that's going on in the Middle East. I don't know if everybody's been watching the actual news. It's devastating. Yesterday, we lost a family of 12 in our city of Bitishbab in Lebanon, from the Bazzi family. They were all murdered for absolutely no reason by American-made weapons. God rest their souls. I also want to talk about, I emailed the mayor about 10 days ago regarding his logos. He took his logos off his car for the city. This is a resolution the mayor had put forward on his own a few years back. I guess the mayor puts, it's a city ordinance that he put, and he supported, and I just want to know why they removed off his cars, and he has not responded back to my emails. And as you can tell, he's never at his, the city council meetings. It's Halloween coming up. Please be careful when you're driving. Watch out for kids crossing. I know some of our neighborhoods are really dark. We're working with DT to get more lighting in our streets and school zones. Just be careful out there. And then, Madam Treasurer, I'm going to be putting a resolution forward to divest with any investments we have with the State of Israel at the next meeting. Sure.
Okay, just for clarification. So Public Act 20 presents to us that we cannot invest in anything that's outside or foreign, outside the United States. So we have to adhere to that Public Act.
Any company that's affiliated with the
Yes.
State of Israel also.
All right,
I'd
thank
like
you.
to get a report from wherever we're in, JP Morgan
Morgan Stanley.
or Morgan Stanley, whoever we invest this, a report
Sure.
saying such so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Councilman, anybody else? Any other council members?
Council Chair?
Yep, Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. I had the, pleasure of attending the memorial service for Joey Smith, his second anniversary of his death last week. And I thank everyone for coming out there, showing up. Thank Katie Smith, his mother, and Margaret King, everyone that was involved with it. And we were talking during the service that even though that they're painting all these crosswalks, they're not doing anything out of the normal. That's what's required to do by the city.
Good job.
And to this very date, nothing has been done physically. Maybe some stuff done on paper, but it's been 2 years since Joey's death, and there has nothing physically been done. No signs put up. No, I'm not aware of any plans. I'm sure there's some kind of plans going on, but 2 years? And the only time we talk about this stuff is a 2-year anniversary or someone else getting hurt or something. And I think it's a bunch of BS that it's 2 years and nothing's been done. And it only comes up once in a while. This should be topical every meeting. And this is not just about Joey Smith. This is about all of our children and all of us that live in the city of Dearborn Heights, our public safety. And we should have a spot on our agenda for our commissions to report. I'm sure that they'd like to come to us and tell us what they're doing or what they need done, all of our commissions. But to have, 2 years without nothing getting done physically, that's unheard of. I can't believe it. And Katie Smith is outraged over this, and rightfully so. We're still waiting for our crosswalk on Beach Daily. That's been like how many years, 10 years or something, whatever.
It's like the water meters.
Yeah. So, this is, it's a shame that, we have to I have to bring this up. But, we were sitting on that intersection on Pardee in Annapolis, and I had my truck parked about 80 feet away from the intersection, and there's a street light in the intersection. I was in the dark. I was playing music, and we had a PA system. This is real close, and people that were just 30, 40 feet away were in the dark. These streetlights that we paid good money for or, I don't know how we paid for them, we're DT, I'm sure we're paying for them somehow, obviously we are. These are not the type of streetlights we need. I mean, there's certain streetlights in the city where they're domed, there's like a dome on them, and they really project out. These new streetlights we got just shine straight down. And you walk around any neighborhood, and you look, you can see, I can see a little bit of the light, but it doesn't pan out any. I think we got ripped off on these new streetlights that we have. But anyway, that's, I want to say it's a shame that nothing has been physically done. I hope there's a lot of stuff on paper somewhere, and we're just ready to go at it real soon, because it'd make a lot of people happy. Thank you.
Anyone? Councilman Constant?
Just like to echo the comments of Councilman Hassan Saab. I noticed someone, made the comment that amongst other things, Israel is carpet bombing southern Lebanon, Beirut, neighborhoods. A lot of Lebanese Americans are here, forced to come here as refugees years ago, and now we see the situation and worse happening, and civilians being killed. So let's all do what we can to speak out to our elected officials and demand that this be stopped. And also to the comment of the gentleman who was here earlier about the problems with drag racing. I mean, it's just gotten out of control. I was driving off of Telegraph onto Ford Road the other day, and two people were racing, and they went down the chute together, and they were blocking the traffic, and these were souped-up, expensive cars. So the more we can do to patrol and ticket these people and impound those cars would be great. And yes, let's everyone watch their driving, especially it's getting darker earlier. Kids going to and coming from school, and also our trick-or-treaters. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go next here, quickly and briefly. My daughter Medina, crazy to believe, turns 1 year old on October 27th. She's been beyond precious. I mean, I realize when you have a son at home, it's like a bobcat. You drop them at home, they destroy everything. You have a daughter, she's so nice and she's so sweet. I want to hug her. And I look at my son, and he's destroying everything. And I'm looking at my wife, and I said, I wish God would give me 5 more daughters. But really, she's
No. Wait till they get to be teenagers.
Yeah, she's turning 1, and she's absolutely stunning and beautiful and amazing, and I love her dearly. Also, Halloween is coming around. I can tell you, for being in my parents' neighborhood off of northern Dearborn Heights, around Councilman Saab's area, Councilman Ahmad's area, my mom's area, it gets very, very, very congested. I think I had this conversation with our police chief as well. Be aware, it's going to be really, really, it's dark, kind of like Councilman Wenzel said. A lot of people are going to be trick-or-treating. Please be cautious, be careful. If you're in the area of Wilson, John Daly, Dover, that area, please be careful. I mean, I think it took me 10 minutes to go down Wilson because so many people were running back and forth, and I just kept telling my wife, oh my God, someone run somebody over. I'm going to be the one councilman that goes to jail because he ended up running somebody over. It was chaotic. And so I was driving so slow. Just be very, very cautious when you guys are driving, and please go out, have fun. Hopefully the weather will hold up. I also want to recognize Angela. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm going to butcher it, but Veganarius or something like that. I'm not even going to say it. Angela, my favorite redhead. This woman goes around every single week and finds different places in the city and cleans up blight. And then she finds the blight that's happening, reaches out to me, and I reach out to either Rick or our ordinance officers or whomever I need to reach out to. But it's not like something she's doing for 1 or 2 times and she's like, hey, I gave up. She's been doing this for 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why she's at city council meetings. And she hasn't stopped. And every single week, she's picking up garbage bags and garbage bags and garbage bags of debris. It's not her job. And Peter. Nancy, who used to attend the meetings here with her. But these are residents, and I'm sure there are many more that are doing this. It's unfair. So what I'm saying is that maybe we need to push out a campaign of saying, no more littering in Dearborn Heights. Let's all clean up around this community. And so that it minimizes, and we all able to enjoy the beauty in this community. And then, but we also have to start with our residents. It really does. It starts with those at home. We can blame ordinance all day. And I'm sure they play a role because, that's their job. But it also sits with those who are at home. And then lastly, elections are coming around the corner. I know things are very, very heated, and I'm not going to take the thunder of our clerk, but I want you guys to keep in mind that a clerk's office is going to be extremely busy from now to November 5th. They have early voting. They have so much going on over there. I asked the administration, I asked those at home, please be patient with them, be patient with the staff that are sitting inside the clerk's department. And in this election right here, we know it's going to be a really crazy election. And I know there are a lot of people that are facing the challenges of this war and do not want to take part in this election. But I want you to know you have to be a voting block. And Dearborn Heights has always been a strong voting block. And if you cannot get yourself to vote at the top, that's okay. But get yourself to vote for school board. Get yourself to vote for your congressional district. Get your vote to vote for your state representative or your county commissioner, because that's all on the ballot this year. But all I ask is that, spread the message. The voting is still extremely important. That's just my message. And then I hope everybody else here has an amazing day. Any other council members? Move it to announcements.
Thank you, Council Chair, honorable body. You're right. Two weeks from now, hopefully we have our chairs and co-chairs coming back here to City Hall with the results, because it'll be over. Early voting starts this Saturday.
Does it? Do you get a rush for elections? But do you get my election?
I'm so tired right now.
I know.
What do you want to know?
I know, but you don't get that burst of excitement on election day?
Oh, yeah. We're here what time, George? Before 6? And yeah. We do. So Mondays are bad. Every day's bad right now as far as busy. We're busy. But anyway, early voting starts on this Saturday, October 26th. It'll be at the Canfield Community Center, 1801 North Beach Daily, from 8:30 to 4:30, 9 days in a row through November 3rd. So I would think that the lines there will probably be less than maybe the lines at the precinct, so try it out. To our AV ballots, we've issued over 8,000. I think the last time I came up to you, I think it was only 4, so we've been getting a lot of requests for absentee ballots as well. We are at a 52% return, so if you have yours sitting at home, turn it in before Election Day. Okay, we have drop boxes at Richard A. Young Center, the JFK Center, the Justice Center here as well. They're all under camera. We pick them up daily when we're open, and even on the weekends here we pick up.
Who monitors those cameras?
Well, one's on the library.
I know, but I'm saying who has access to those cameras?
I know IT does. I don't know if anybody else does, honestly. Do you know, Director? Do you? You do? Okay, so he's got 2 of them. He's got the one that's here is looking right at the box, and the one at JFK anyway.
What's that?
Unless it's yeah. In some of them, you're not required to.
I don't want to know. I was just thinking my mind.
Yeah, if the ballot boxes were placed in before 2020 or around that time, they're not required at the moment to have cameras on them. Just the Ray and the Justice Center, but we have cameras on all of them. Okay, we will be open. The clerk's office will be open on that Saturday, November 2nd, from 8 to 4 for election business only. So come in and get your absentee ballot then. You can bring it home and return it by Election Day, or you can vote here. November 5th, obviously, is election. We will be here bright and early at 6 a.m. However, we will only be open for vital records, we don't have very many birth certificates, but death certificates, and as well as election business only. November 6th, our office will be closed. It's going to be a 24-hour plus day on the election. In 2020, I didn't get back from downtown until 6:30 in the morning. Wow. So it's kind of leading up to that, we are going to be closed on November 6th, so we're going to start pushing that notice out. And then workers are still needed. I have applications up here. I have one for you too if you want. But it is a long day, so you have to keep that in mind. You have to be at the polling locations, right, at 6 a.m. We have 2 of our workers here. 6 a.m. until 9 if you're chair or co-chair, right? I mean, well, even if you're a worker, because you're not released until your chair or your co-chair says your duties are done. And then the chairs and co-chairs come back here. They have to go through the receiving board. It's a long night. So if anyone's interested, keep that in mind. I do have them here. You can come and stop in and see us. And,
So you have to do it all day?
yeah.
I mean, what about people with kids?
Yeah.
Can I bring my kids along?
I don't know. I think they have to be 18.
Council Chair,
Um,
I have a question.
So thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, a few years ago, I got my absentee ballot, and I just decided I wanted to vote in person. And I did, and it took a little bit. There was a little bit of something. Now, I was approached yesterday by someone that said they lost their absentee ballot. And they didn't know if they could still vote. I mean,
They can come in and lost one. I can't tell you all the deadlines right now, but if they lost it, they just come in and spoil it. And then
come in
we
and
cancel that one,
actually
reject
vote,
it, and then we go ahead and we do it again.
in an
If you
actual
go,
voting area,
what's that?
in an actual voting place, right? They do that.
Well,
I think
if you were issued an absentee ballot, okay, and you decide to go to the polling location, it's going to be in our system that you are issued a ballot and you have not returned it. So what the chair or an election worker would do would be call our office, make sure that we had not received it in, because the information on their laptop is current as of 4 o'clock on Monday. If they haven't returned it, because we will know that, then we will reject it in the system. So if they happen to throw it in the drop box or if it was in the mail, we would not accept that absentee ballot. So they only can vote one ballot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before we go over to announcements, Councilwoman Breyer, who is not here, sent me a message to read for her announcement, so I'm speaking on behalf of Councilwoman Breyer. So picture me with long hair. I'd like to announce the meeting of the Ecorse Creek at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Guest speaker will be Ali Deeb, will be speaking at the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association at 7 p.m. On Thursday, Rashida or YEP from her office, plus a director from Dearborn Heights will speak, both at 3335 South Beach Daily. Thanks. You can present for me. Please announce. Zoom will raise my hand. Feel better, Councilwoman.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to fast forward to December because it will be here before you know it, as these months fly by, and share with you and ask you to share with people you know is our Residents Assistance Day, which is Tuesday, December the 10th, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. here at City Hall, which is 6045 Fenton Street in Dearborn Heights. We're going to have Wayne Metro here, and they'll offer information and help sign people up for water assistance. We will also have our own City of Dearborn Heights Community Economic Development Department, residential rehab. So if you have a home that needs some repairs, it's an issue, they can help you with that. We will have DTE here as well, which will talk about thaw and get you signed up if you qualify. We'll also have Wayne County here, Wayne County Treasurer's Office, and they can help get you into a home foreclosure program so you avoid home foreclosure, among other programs that they offer, which is a variety. So we just want to share that with you ahead of time. And like I said, we'll do media more as we get closer to the date, but I thought I'd let you know this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
December the 10th.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just wanted to remind you that this Saturday, October 26th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we'll be having our Trunk or Treat and Spooky Mini Golf program at CK. Come join us as we hand out treats and play mini golf in the library, with proceeds going to Dearborn Heights Goodfellows. We're looking for hole sponsors at $50 per hole, and the program is free to the public. Any donations made are suggested ones to benefit families in need in our community through Goodfellows. That's all. Thanks for your time, and see you at the library.
Director, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Seeing none. Public comments? You got 3 minutes. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Wave the flag when your time is up.
My name is Ned Piggin. I live on Rosetta Street. I thought I was doing something over the holidays. Usually when the city's closed, I hear the saws going off in my neighborhood. Wants to make me cry. Usually the city office is closed. Over the Labor Day weekend, it was really, I thought, I called the cops. That's a giant tree that used to be a $10,000 fine. You had to replace the diameter with it in the tree fund. I end up calling Frank. Frank told me those days are gone. This city council changed even that ordinance that I thought wasn't worth the paper it was written on, and I offered many suggestions when I was a council person. It seems though it's an open holiday. They can cut down anything they want, whenever they want, and how many they want. I guess you want to turn Military Hills into Dockstader Street with all those big houses and no trees on it. Well, I think that whoever made the resolution for that change in our tree ordinance should make the resolution to take the name of Arbor City off of this place and change it to Gypsy City, because they're going to cut down every tree there is here. The idea that you can move in and the real estate agents can say, you don't like that? 4-foot diameter, beautiful oak tree. Oh, I couldn't believe it in my neighborhood with a 50-foot diameter of ground cover. I wish I could have taken that ground cover home. What's the purpose? What's the need of that? So stop calling yourself an Arbor City. You're not an Arbor City. You're a Gypsy City. You allow people to cut every damn tree down. I live in a maple and oak forest. I got 30 trees on my property. They're chopping them down all around me. You think that's a benefit to the city? It's no benefit to you. People that don't like, they should go to Northfield Township someplace. You ever see those subdivisions where big houses all next to each other with roofs and not a tree in sight? Change that Arbor City. You are not an Arbor City. Whoever made that motion better make the motion. Change that. Get rid of Arbor City here. It doesn't belong here at all. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. About the ordinance, do you remember, do we have, I mean, nobody can cut any tree they want. They need to get a permit, correct? Councilman, I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, you can cut down, you gotta get a permit, but you can basically cut down any tree you want.
But you're supposed to.
Even if it's on city property, yeah.
But you're supposed to plant something instead.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, like Ned said, I mean, you can cut down a 500-year-old oak tree and replace it with a 4-inch diameter, 10-foot tall tree. And then you pay into a fund somewhere. But, trees, they have some of this advantage. I mean, tree covers, it lowers your ground temperature by 7 degrees. They block the wind during windstorms. We have all these branches being blown off and knocking power lines down. Trees reduce the wind. I mean, cutting down trees, I've always been against it, and I voted no on anything that had to do with cutting down trees.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah.
Any more comments from public? Okay, Madam Clerk, moving to Zoom.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There was a question regarding why the bid for the parking lot for Van Houten came up high, because that was a good design, and we spent a lot of money, Waytrim designing the engineering and the architecture of that particular parking to match the whole essence of the parking, the park itself. That was about $1.7 million of federal money plus 100,000 from the Wayne County.
Thank you very much, Director.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much. Moving on, Madam Clerk. Please state your name and the street you live on in the city.
Hi, I'm Barb Running, Detroit Street, Dearborn Heights. I just want to give a kudos to Lynn and everyone in the clerk's office, including Dana, Sally, Georgianne, Kathy, and Bonnie. I just started working the elections in the back, helping with the absentee voters about a month ago. Everyone really took me under their wing. If the public only knew how much goes into this with checking names and counting ballots and double checking everything, I really think everyone in the clerk's office deserves a big round of applause. It's just amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Any other, Madam Clerk?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. Motion made by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, seconded by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries.